I am going to continue to ask the question. A 20-hour response in a country the size of New Jersey. That begs a big explanation. And more importantly, America is significantly underwriting the Israeli government $4 billion a year. We as American taxpayers deserve answers to this. We deserve answers. Also, if we're going to get into a regional or world war based on an intel failure, so, I mean, we pay for this. What are we buying, right? I got smeared as a Jew hater, an anti-Semite, and conspiracy theorist because I said exactly what I just said. And I refuse to back down despite all the smears thrown at me, because I learned during COVID. I learned when they told us that it came from a bat in the Himalayas. I learned when they told us the vaccine was safe and effective. I learned when they told us that ivermectin was horse paste, that you better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that keeps us free. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Over the last 10 years.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
I want to say this because there has been a lot of reading in between the lines. It's strange to me. I think I'm a very direct person. I say what I mean. And I do not want people to mistake what's happening right now or to wrongly assume my intentions here. So allow me to be very explicit, okay? I want war with all of you, okay? All of you.
The following information is not intended to throw shade on those that say they love Charlie, but instead shine light on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I'm still alive. Yes, I'm still here. So look, I don't have any kind of script for this video. Welcome back to Charlie Kirk Operation 322 Part 4. If you've watched the other 3 parts of the series, I've combined them in one video on YouTube. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And for the people who have, the comments have been absolutely overwhelming. Thank you. For the people who have enjoyed it, I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to watch all 3 parts, 2 hours and maybe 7 minutes, but about 2 hours of content over there, frame by frame, proving 2 shots. And not just proving 2 shots, also for the first time verifying the exact building that Charlie Kirk was assassinated from. And also uncovering some shady activity based off of that building. Then, of course, we all now know, if you've watched those other 3 parts of the series, that building was the BA building that was behind Charlie Kirk to his back right. A lot of people are having problems with the angle of the tent or the angle of the shot regarding, the height of the tent and where Charlie was sitting. I assure you, there was more than enough space to make sure that Charlie was visible. They went through the effort of that. They made sure that the tent was raised. So a lot of people don't know that the tent was raised. It wasn't just that Charlie was sitting up in an elevated position. The tent was also raised. There was a lot that we uncovered in the first 3 parts that we'll look over a little bit or talk about a little bit here. I don't really want to get too much into the first 3 parts, and into the reason why I call it Operation 322. You'll have to go watch the first 3 parts if you want that information, if you want to understand what a lot of this is about. The comment section underneath the video on YouTube should be enough for you to understand the quality of the information that's there and the amount of time that it took to put it together and present it. So I'm not going to dive into it a lot here. I'm going to give more of this space and more of this time to move and go into Part 4. And I'm going to assume that you've watched that or a clip of that. And I'll show maybe a little bit right here. And everybody started moving at the same time. This guy put out the signal, I believe, for the BA sniper so that he can see. I'm about to show you how he positions his body to move it so that the BA sniper can actually see him. He puts himself in the sunlight and he takes a little bit of a step back as he gives the signal to take the shot. Simultaneously, this guy right here hears it come over the microphone and he turns and he takes his shot with the recoil that comes from his hand from his palm pistol.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Oh, that really looked like at that time. There's probably 2 or 3 people in the crowd that have a gun.
Hang on.
Oh!
And then they say that you could see. So it looks like he's pretending to pull up his sleeve and he has a palm gun. That's what it looks like. And there's the bullet.
And again, his shot hit second though. And I'm going to show you exactly where it hit. Matter of fact, let me show you where it hit first. So You know I'm not joking with you. Okay. There it is. It was right there the whole time. After the first shot hit him and expanded his neck and put this what looked like it looked like his microphone blew up. Now you guys can see clearly the microphone did not blow up. It's still there. These are little magnets that slide off real easy. Anybody saying that this blew up, that it did not blow up. I don't know if it was set to blow up. That could be another theory, a possibility. Maybe it was a detonated device that just didn't go off in there. I don't know. But I know that it did not cause a discharge that went through Charlie's body or anything like that. So he was not shot with a camera phone from behind. That's not what took him out. He was not blown up by this device right here. That's not what took him out either. But what we all missed was right there in the middle of the screen. When Charlie's shirt was puffed out from getting hit in the back of the head from that first round. Now, mind you, you cannot fake the infrared beam. You can't fake the flash in the window. You can't fake the bullet coming at the same exact trajectory that the infrared beam was on. You cannot fake any of that stuff. If you have a bullet, if you have a gun muzzle flash in the window, and if you have an infrared beam, trust me, the gun is somewhere in that direction. Period. If you have a bullet, if you have a muzzle flash reflection, if you have an infrared beam, the gun is in the direction of all of that stuff. And the first thing that you follow is the infrared beam. And that's why I was able to figure out the BA position on the BA building for the sniper. Thank you again, Stephen Ben-Noon. But this guy hits him right here in the front. Now, let me show you guys what that actually looks like so you guys can understand how this ended up, being Charlie's fate, how he got hit twice by these people. And nobody is showing this. This is the first time that this graphic has been shown. It's on We Are Not Going to Mars. That's my channel. This is what I was able to find because people were wondering how this area of the t-shirt went up. I'm going to show you how. All right, guys, let me go ahead and show you real quick, exactly frame by frame. Now that you guys understand where the BA sniper is, now that you also understand where the palm shooter is, let me go ahead and show you guys what it looks like frame by frame so you know how the sniper shot hit first. And you'll understand how the shirt poofed out at the top. As the shirt was poofed out, as it was poofed out, he got hit from here, from about the left-hand side, right near the heart area. That's why I said Charlie Kirk had no chance. He passed away instantly. I'm sure he didn't even feel anything. He was eviscerated from the inside, and then he got basically hit in his heart. I know that's horrible sounding, and it is tragic. It's terrible. But this is what they did to him. This is what they did. And then they blamed it on, political stuff and all this. And this is so far beyond politics that, this is just evil. So when his shirt was poofed out, mind you, his shirt is poofed out. As his shirt's poofed out, the second shot comes in and hits. Boom. And when it does, it hits. It sends that ripple of it being poofed out up like this, creating a temporary indentation in the middle of the shirt and raising it from where it was poofed out. That's exactly what happened, guys. Watch. Okay? Just pay attention and watch. He's going to pick up the microphone, unless he's putting it down right here. Watch the shirt puff up. Right there, he's hit. Right here, Charlie Kirk is hit. Okay? This is the shot from the sniper. Let me get again, I'm on a cell phone, guys, so just work with me. That's the shot from the sniper right there. Nothing blew up. You can see his thing is still in place, but the shot came in, and look at his neck expansion. The neck completely expands. And I don't want to get too graphic here, but I want you guys to see how this part of the neck right here is pushed up and to the left, as all of this is right here is kind of blown out, if you will, from the expansion of the bullet dropping down into right here. Okay. Now pay attention to it. Again, I don't want it to be too graphic, but we took out the actual, from where the bullet came out, we took that part out. So here, again, the bullet hits right there. Okay. Now, at this very second, this next second, this is why it was all on cue and for the shots to go off at the same time so that all the shots ended up sounding like one. That is the second that he got hit with the second shot. Boom. Look at that. Center mass, guys. Right there is clear as day. Just like the graphic I showed you. Just so you know, I'm not like altering anything or anything like that. I'm just showing you what's actually there in front of your faces. Like, they want to play us, but they don't understand. Some of us will take the time to go through this stuff frame by frame. You can join me on PenPub next week. And on my platform, that's going to go beyond TikTok, Facebook, and all this. we'll be able to talk more intimately about this kind of stuff and more candidly about this kind of stuff. But this is the only evidence that I know of anybody who's talking about it from this standpoint and showing it from this standpoint. Okay. Look at that. He's hit. In the moment after he's hit with a second shot right in the middle. I mean, these shots are back to back. Boom, 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 boom. Just like that. Just like that. And it was over with.
Listen, everything that you just saw was only possible because of this one thing that no one saw, this infrared beam. If it wasn't for this infrared beam, we wouldn't have the information that we have right now. Thank you, Stephen Danoon.
Okay, now that you've seen what you've seen, that was just real quick, just so that you can understand what's going on. Okay, so now that you've actually seen what you've seen, you're kind of up to speed, right? I'm not going to give it any more time. That's what happened in parts 1 to 3. We were all on the same page that Charlie Kirk was absolutely assassinated that day by 2 shots from the BA building behind him, the BA sniper position, as I call it. And you're going to see why that's actually was the appropriate title to give it. And also right in front of him to his front left. And I'm not going to name any names. You guys could do that on, throughout the internet and Twitter. I'm not going to put anybody's physical name in here. The only names that I put in here were for the 2 distractions that were there that day. And that was, Phil Lyman and what's his name? George Zem. These people, I had to use their names because it was just quite obvious right from the beginning. Too much media surrounding their names, nothing to do with anything dealing with this age demographic, this figure, this person. And here goes these 2 considerably older gentlemen with completely shady ties and twists to other events and situations and times and current things too. Pardons, all kinds of stuff. So just completely odd. Out of, you wouldn't expect that around a bunch of college kids, but the situation had a lot of things that you wouldn't expect. So I'm not going to spend much time, putting out names and all that kind of stuff. The names that I say in this video, they're going to be high, top quality, top authority names. I can't say top quality really because they're not top quality people, but we look at those positions as supposed to be top quality positions, heads of state. But here we are, y'all. So look, I'm not going. I'm still alive. I'm actually thriving. I'm doing well. If you've gotten this far along, then maybe you've seen my little thing somewhere on the screen that talked about PenPub. Maybe you've heard it in the first 3 parts of my series where I talked about PenPub. But PenPub is it is now here, and not in its full capacity. We're in beta right now, and I'm getting out. I'm just released it publicly this week, actually, within the last week. I think it's 7 days now. And let me tell you, it has been an undertaking to create a platform that is decentralized, global, and you can talk to anybody anywhere in the world. There's no barrier to entry. You have to be, an adult.
Thank you for all the people that supported this. You guys can go to makehimasandwich.com if you would like to support me. And this is an amazing book. I wrote every word of it. It's the first time that we took it out of a publishing house, which feels amazing because I think that's the future as well. Decentralization, publish your own books, because the publishers also have a lot of power in changing history. And so I wanted to say that.
It's a blessing to have developed a platform like this that is beyond the app stores. So you don't have to worry about all the rules of the app stores and stuff like that. There's no centralized authority per se for the authors, such as myself, who want to put their book and the things that they publish on PenPub. There's just no way to censor the speech, and that's what PenPub is about. We're taking back the streets out here on these online streets. We're taking back the online streets. So PenPub is going to be a household name. It's going to be a global household name. When people think about books, they think about Amazon, they think about Kindle, things like that. They have the Amazon Kindle, the device, so that's how they have their books. They have a lot of Amazon Kindles. Some people throw them in a pile, like the ones they buy throughout the years. But PenPub is not going to force you to buy a bunch of devices to read some books. But we're going to give you the same feel, look, and even better with better options and much needed upgrades to the ebook space over time for both authors and readers. So I look forward to bringing PenPub to the community. I hope you read my book Planned. It's in my PenPub. So read Planned. It's in my PenPub. And in there, you can speak to me on a new global chat system that I've developed called Pen Chat. So within my PenPub, it's the Pen Reader and Pen Chat. And that is how I'm putting together this this proposition, if you will, for authors to take back the narrative, stop giving away 65% to Jeff and people like him who are taking just tremendous amounts of your hard work, and earn 100% of it on your own. You know, lease one of these pen readers with the Pen Chat, lease one of these deals from me, and really keep your audience, full retention of your audience, so you can never be censored again. You can always have the contact, you know, of course, information of your people that they share with you. You know, it's not about PenPub. They're sharing it with you directly because it's giving authors the ability to have their own social media voice, their own platform. And we're just going to start with authors for now. So we have a lot more coming. You know, there's the media space out there is a big space. So we're going to make sure that we're properly rolling things out over time, responsibly. So, you know, right now we're working on authors, and we're going to make sure that we give Jeff a run for his money, because taking 65% of revenue and income from hardworking authors is just not going to be tolerated anymore. So we're going to take a stand against that at PenPub. Make sure you get 100% of your money. And we just ask that you come rock with us. That's all. You know, tap in, come check us out. Whatever all the cool sayings are for the time to get you interested, just come do the right thing. You know, basically come do the right thing with PenPub. For me, guys, this part 4, this is my last go around. After this, I'm done. I'm not doing another part after this. There's no part 5. I'm telling you that right now. There's no part 5. So I'm gonna say everything I'm gonna say about PenPub. I'm gonna talk about it as much as I want. If you want the information that I have to give, then you got to listen to me. I'm not plugging anybody else's products, what they're doing, what they got going on, none of that. I'm going to plug what I have going on. Why? Because I've done the work that is necessary to bring you what you're about to witness here. And I promise you, once you see it, you've not seen it anywhere else. I've waited, I've scoured, I've looked, I've wrestled with what God wanted me to do with this. And I'm like, why me, Lord? Come on. And I just want to get PenPub out there and, you know, get my book planned out there and really just start helping people and doing things. And he had me reach back into this old bag of, you know, investigative skills and journalism. So here I am. And what I've uncovered is groundbreaking. It is absolutely earth shattering to both the United States and, dare I say, the little country with the blue and white flag. We're not going to say it. We can't say it on YouTube or TikTok either. And I think soon X. I don't think we can say it on there either. But you can say it on PenPub. You can come over to PenPub. It'll be in the description section. It'll be floating across the screen wherever you see it. Jump on my PenPub, plannedbyty.com. Jump on my PenPub, plannedbyty.com. And we can speak a little bit more uncensored. So for here, I'll just say the country with the blue and white flag. And the leader of it was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, here in America. So these people are, these heads of state are diabolical. They're diabolical. And what you witnessed with Charlie Kirk, I believe I said it in my other 3-part series, was a ritualized assassination. That's what it was. Charlie went against the grain. He knew what the rules were. He agreed to the rules of engagement, engaging with these types of entities, these types of people. He agreed to it. And I'm not saying that Charlie deserved what he got, but I am saying that when you step into those places and you make those commitments and you break those rules, their level of thinking is their rules supersede whatever laws and stuff govern all of us. So the laws that govern us and the courts that govern us and all of these things, they don't really care about as much. What they really care about instead is they care about their order. They care about access. There's no other way for me to put that. They care about their order and they care about access. And it's not about money. It's about a certain amount of loyalty and respect and protecting that access. So that is their biggest tool that they use with their new initiatives all the way up to the top. And we basically live in their system, just to be honest with you. I'm just keeping it real. So Charlie broke that order when he started talking against Trump regarding the Epstein files. Charlie broke that order when he started talking out very vocally against the blue and white flag country. He completely broke that order. And in breaking that order, there was massive consequences, and a lot of joint planning went into this operation to not just silence, but to eliminate and then replace in a very quick order. Very quick order. We've never seen the likes of anything like this ever before. It's a coordinated effort between nation states, between militarized assets internationally, and media, just to be quite frank with you, even media, because the silence is deafening. I waited. I refuse to believe that I'm the only person that knows the information that I'm about to tell you, but I'm the only one that's going to give it to you. So that's why I say, pray for me. Pray for my family. Pray for my business. Pray for our lives. I'm not an anti-Semitic person. I'm not a hateful person. I love all people. I love the people that are on the ground down there in Israel that work hard every day, and they get up and they go to work and they're not worried about hating anybody else, even if they do hate other people. I love them anyway, right? We have people in our family that suck and we still love them, so I believe they can get better. I believe through the power of Christ, they can get better. I know they don't believe that, what I just said, but I believe that for them. And that's all that's good enough for me, so everything I say doesn't come out of hatred. It doesn't come from a place of animosity. It's easy to be angry, at the blue and white flag country, and especially their leader, the guy from Philly. It's easy to be angry. It's super easy to be angry because you know what happened to all those lives. All those lives, man. Think about that. It made me tear up the other day because I said, wow, is it justified? That's what I asked myself. Just a basic question. There's no politics or nothing like that. Just a basic question of morality. Is it justified? How much damage was done generationally to the innocent? And I just don't think it was. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened on that fateful day where, the borders of that little country were down and supposed terrorists came in and did what they did on their own, free will. I'm not sure what happened that day, but I do know that lives were affected, and that will forever be tragic because it was real, because lives were affected. How and the logistics of that are probably never going to be found out, and only known by God and a few people here on this earth. What I do know is when I get back to the question of was it justified, that's where I start to find my problems. So I don't know how you guys think. I don't know how you guys feel. But what I do know is when I see things like when we see that happen over there with all the innocent lives, yeah, we can't ignore that. We shouldn't ignore that. That doesn't make you a morally centered person. It doesn't make you a good Christian. I don't think Christ is happy with it if you ignore it. So those who mock Christ, those who mock Christians, those who mock the values of Christianity and the teachings of Christ, they may think differently. So with all of that being said, without further ado, I'm giving you this much of my talking, this much of my time. We're going to go right into the evidence. I'm going to show you exactly why I think that there was not only a sniper, but this was the first assassination done by a drone sniper here in the United States of America that involves nation state actors. So there's no way that the United States could not have known about this. I'm not going to say that they necessarily 100% participated, but I am going to say that there is no way that this got by and was allowed to happen without the highest approval. So with that being said, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into exactly how I believe Charlie Kirk was unalived on 9/10 of 2025. Let's pray real quick before we get into this information. Father God, we ask that as we present this information today, that ears can hear it and that they can discern it properly, Lord. We thank you for this information, Lord. Of course, I want people to come over to PenPub and to plan and to read my book and all that kind of stuff, Lord, but I don't want any of that without you getting the glory first, Lord. And thank you for giving me this mission and this task to be able to help out as much as I can and just to know my role and my part and to get out the way. Thank you, Lord, for the people who are out there and doing the right things and trying to find out the truth on a day-to-day basis. We appreciate you for that, Father God, and we appreciate you for the constant love and attention given to this situation by people who are dedicated from what they feel in their heart and their soul, Lord. So we thank you for that, Lord, and we ask you to protect them, Lord, both physically, mentally, and always physically, mentally, and spiritually, in every which way possible, Lord. It's rough out here. It's rough out here. You know it, Lord. People are losing their lives over information, and it's a genuine, legitimate concern, Lord. So I ask that as I pray over myself and over this, the content of this information as it goes into the hands of somebody else who will make it even better and find even more, that you protect them as well too, Lord. And as they go on their journey to continue exposing the truth and giving justice to a situation that deserves justice. So we thank you for these things in your holy name we pray. Amen. That's where we're at with the guys. We got to pray about it. We cannot play about it. So it's kind of cool. I like that. We got to pray about it. We can't play about it. So as I used to say in my old show, the All Rights Matter show, many years ago, 10 years ago, maybe, stay alert, stay alive, guys. See you on the other side.
I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes. Trump is my favorite president. We've run out of bombs. We didn't run out of bombs in World War II.
But I want more with all of you. So write your articles, issue your statements, email the White House, reach out for comment, okay? Say whatever it is you want to say about me. I want more with all of you. Because I know this isn't right. And there is no way you are going to convince me and the rest of the world that all of this is normal. We're not just going to keep on going and jump into a succession plan. We're going to figure out what the hell happened on September 10th first.
All right, guys, welcome. Listen, this is the most difficult video I have ever done in my life. I can't tell you the forces that I have come up against to just try to get this information out to you guys. It has been hard. It has been difficult. I promised this video to you guys a long time ago, but I can't lie to you. This was a lot of spiritual warfare went into making this because I know what this is going to touch on. So, bear with me. Where we left off the last time is the BA sniper. And if you remember in part 2, we had discovered basically what I was presenting to you guys was the built part of the building that's right here, the BA building, where the shot was fired from that came down and hit Charlie Kirk right here. And in discovering that, what we realized was this gentleman here was running along this walkway, just kind of crazy out of place, when nobody else was doing anything like that at the time. So he was just out of place and he ran, I'm going to show you what he did. He ran to a stairwell down here somewhere and walked out on the terrace and then walked out over here, helped somebody. And then, God knows where he went, after that. But what we realized, and I'm, retracting because I want to be as open and as honest and as thorough as possible. What we realized is this gentleman, we don't want to call him the BA sniper. He was more like a lookout. I definitely want to say he's still involved. I'm not taking him out of the equation at all. The closer I look at this, I begin to realize this, his shape, his demeanor, how he moves. And I just don't think he had the agility to get down fast enough from that position. And when I really look at it, it's a raised position from the BA building that would allow the angle that's necessary, the grade of the angle that's necessary to actually get to Charlie Kirk. So I want to correct the record on that and say this gentleman right here is not the shooter per se, but he is the BA sniper lookout. That's what we'll call it, the BA sniper lookout. So he seemed to be protecting this location here. I'm going to scroll up a little bit so you guys can kind of see some of the stuff I have here. We'll get back to some of that stuff later on. But he seemed to just kind of be protecting the location. As a matter of fact, I'll scroll down a little bit here and see what we can get. Hold on. Okay, you see him running right here? Look at him. And I'm not trying to get all into these videos. This is the last, series, but everybody else is kind of like going this way. All these people in the background are running up under the covering here. My initial theory was he dropped down. There's a hole at the top of right here, is that he dropped down through here and ran across this walkway. If you time it, the timing works out just about right. But he would have had to have been, in my opinion, standing here in a lifted position to angle down to get this shot. And I'll show you why here in a second. We'll go over all of that. But I don't know. After looking at him, I'm just not convinced. And what I became convinced of was an initial theory that I actually had back on, I think it was October 3rd, when I got this video here. Now, just pay attention to this video. Watch what happens. The shot goes off and look, somebody was able to get a drone in this video. And I knew that this was out there. but I couldn't get anything else, and you'll see even here in the evidence area. Let me see if I can find it real quick, just to show you. Here it is right here. Candace Owens was trying to find the same thing right here. And she was trying to get this area because this is kind of like a dead zone, right? This area right here is the hardest area to really get any good footage from. And once we started getting footage from that area, we still couldn't get any footage from, I'll go ahead and show you this real quick. Let me show you. Let me get out of here. There we go. I'm using a mouse on my phone, guys, just so I can have a pointer so you guys can see a little bit easier. All right. So now we're going to get into it a little bit here. I couldn't get any footage, right? This is the UVU courtyard, guys. And let me put myself up here out of the way a little bit because I want to show you guys something. So if we're here in the UVU courtyard, right? All right, I'm going to turn around. We're going to move it like this. What I couldn't get footage of and was this area right up here. And where's my pen? Let me use my pen to show you guys. Uh-oh, it looks like my pen broke, guys. Huh. Well, it kind of works a little bit, but this area right up in here. So let me see if I can do it like this. So from right here, right, in all this area, when we look and we try to get footage from going right up in here, and I hope you can see my little pointer that I have here, but we couldn't get anything, guys. Like, it's just, there's nothing. This little spot right here is a dead spot on everyone's camera. Even the guy who was up here on the bridge, who we've taken a lot of footage from him. I think his name is Adam something. A lot of his footage. We're going to show that a little bit later on. But even that spot, guys, it's just, this thing is a mess. It's a mess, right? So you can't get any real good footage from here, which was quite disappointing. So no one could see anything right here. This is better right here. Shows you better. This little box right here. You see that? I should screenshot that. I don't have my, I need to put a new pointer in my pen. It looks like the pointer came out of my pen. So it's okay though. I won't be using it a lot this presentation. But right here, this little box right here, during the actual shot with Charlie Kirk right here, we weren't able to get any shot. Now I have this map up and I want to kind of show you something a little bit, because a lot of people don't understand the angle, and I want to get the angle a little bit better just so you can see it a little bit better. And we're going to line it up here. Here we go. It's actually kind of eerie when you do it this way, just to know that Charlie Kirk was literally sitting right here. Charlie Kirk was literally sitting right here. And how do we know? Because this is the thing that everybody thought was a trap door. It's not a trap door, guys. But this is where he was sitting right here, right? So what my original theory was, this little area right here, this little triangle, is a protected space. You can't see anything. Anybody up here wouldn't have been able to see somebody in the prone position. There's a small gap here that's not being properly seen by this, camera angle, but there's a small gap here that you can actually see through, which would actually give you kind of, the space necessary to take this shot, right? Now, the problem is, as you get closer down and you're on the roof right here, your angle goes away right here because of how far out this goes, right? So let's turn it a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. That's a distance, right? So your angle, if you're down in the prone position, meaning laying on your stomach, like a sniper would, if you're in the prone position and you're looking through that crack right there, you're based on what's out here, how much it's sticking out right here, it would be really, relatively hard for you to get a good shot from that angle. So that's why it was important on this side of the audience to be able to see this on this side of the audience. Let me show you guys. See if we can back up a little bit, bring it down some. There we go, right there. All right. So if we could try to find something within this box right here, this box, this is all I've been looking for, all the footage I've been looking for this whole time. Anything in this location right here during the shot, you can't find nothing. There's nothing, guys. I promise you. Now, what you will notice, and it's not in this 3D rendering, of course, is there's a security camera on the wall right here in the regular photos, okay? You drop down on like Google Maps and stuff like that. We're on Google Earth right now. In case you guys want to recreate the same kind of thing and go see it yourself, just drop down on Google Earth, UVU courtyard, okay? So there's this security camera here. If the drone, or at the time I thought it was the BA sniper, would have popped up, he would have been right here, maybe in a prone position, taking the shot from this angle downward. That made a lot of sense as well at the time. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like. If he's kind of comes up out of the prone position from here and takes the shot at a downward angle, you can kind of see where this is basically the same trajectory, right? Now, the problem starts to come in when we say that the BA sniper drops down from here. He drops down into this hole that's here at the top that I was telling you guys was right here. There's a hole here, right? So my thing is, if there was something that was draped right here in this corner where you couldn't see the activity going behind, he could easily climb up and down this hole, have access to this roof, take the shot, drop back down, and run across. And I think that's pretty plausible given the time frame that it took for the shot to go off, for him to come into view, and then out of nowhere just sporadically start running from here. But everybody was already retreating into here. So it made no sense whatsoever, right? But that's what he did. So he starts running across here looking just guilty as all sin. And what we should have realized is this area right here, this little square box right here, sure, the BA building right here on the corner, but this area that we can't get footage from, there's a reason. Now, this video is about to get very deep. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's going to get very deep. We're 12 minutes into understanding that the BA position and what happened and all of this good stuff. But I want you to go ahead and get yourselves ready. This is not going to be, this is heavy information. I'm going to tell you that right now. Very heavy information. It's not going to be easy, okay? It's not going to be easy information. And again, let's look at that angle one more time, just so you know. This is absolutely a shot that, you know, can be taken from this angle, but it would just have to be a little bit more raised up off of the ground. That's the key, off of the ground, right? And it would be easier off of the ground to take the shot and to have this angle. So I want to show you guys one last time, just so there's no confusion whether this angle is possible. It is absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. Now you see it with your own eyes that this angle is 100% possible. So if there's a drone floating anywhere right here, and it's in a raised position, especially if it's just sitting here, and it raises up into position, takes the shot, backs up and lifts, those drones are so fast that you would be none the wiser. You know, it's so fast, right? So I want to show you guys what that looks like. Now you can't say you haven't seen it, okay, or that it's, you know, imagination or something like that. Look at this. Let's get it like this. There we go. Now we're talking. Come on, Google Earth. Let's go. Come through. Look at Google Earth blessing us. Look at that right there. What do you see, guys? This is what I'm talking about. Now, this is the star angle right here. This is the star angle. Screenshot this if you want, guys. Go ahead, screenshot it. All right, so if I'm a drone and I'm approaching this area, you know, I don't even have to approach the area. I could just be, again, sitting right here, just literally sitting on top of the building. Nobody would be able to see that. Wouldn't be none the wiser. Lift up off of the building. Look, boom, clear shot right there. Clear shot to Charlie Kirk. It only takes 2 seconds. Clear shot. Now, I'm showing you this angle for a reason, guys. I'm walking you through it. I'm taking it nice and slow. Probably going to be a long video. Some of you probably going to complain. You'll be all right. Calm down. But I'm taking you through this for a reason, and I'm showing it to you for a very specific reason from this angle. Because when I show you what I'm about to show you as far as the drones, I want you to understand what it looks like. Keep this in mind. This is your shot box right here. This is it. It's very, very small. I told you that before in the first 3 parts. This shot angle is, I mean, you'd have to be a super sniper. It's damn near impossible, but it is possible. It's just hard to do. Now, if you have a drone and you have somebody in, what did I call it in the first 3 parts? A kill box. It looked like he was sitting in a kill box. I showed you earlier in this video how the tent was raised up. Something's not right, guys. Something's not right. So if a drone was to shoot from here, maybe, just maybe after the shot, we'd be able to get a picture of that drone, right? So let's see, right? Like I told you, on October the 3rd, let's go look at that again. On October the 3rd, let's open that up so we can see it together. All right. Now on October the 3rd, look. Now watch this, mind you. Let's pause it, right? On October the 3rd, when I first got this, again, I'm trying to find drones because I swore I saw, like a day after this assassination, I swore that I saw a drone video with a different kind of drone, a black drone, that I swore I seen it floating somewhere on, what was that, TikTok, before they banned me on TikTok. And I went back to go look again, and I could not find that video. So, you know, still to this day, I have not found that video. But I did find this video. So right after the shot goes off, we can't get video footage from that corner of the audience that I just showed you. But we were able to get it from the opposite side of the audience on top of a balcony. And when the person was turning after the shot was fired is when they were able to get their pan their camera phone into the air and to get this shot. So I'm talking about it, but let's walk through it a little bit, right? So the shot's fired. He pans his phone up, and as he's getting ready to turn, you know, kind of in a motion to get up out of there, this is what he catches in the air. Okay. Now, this is just the beginning, guys. This is literally just the beginning. There's more, right? Let's go even further. So catches this in the air. Now, this is what told me right away. I said, okay, there had to be drones there. I knew that there were drones there. I knew that for sure, right? Couldn't find the one footage. I saw this footage, saved it. I went ahead. I had already, you know, talked about basically about the first three parts and, you know, stuff like that, and was already putting out, you know, like kind of the operation kind of theory thing, but I didn't have enough to go with in the first three parts to support the drone information until now. So let's get into it, right? You guys have been here for quite some time, probably close to 45 minutes at least, and we haven't gotten all the way to the drones. If you see, even on October 6th, I have a little something showing you the drones. Now, this is a drone that carries drones, right? I'm not going to open that video up. That I'll include that with all the video assets after this. All of this will be on planbyty.com. Again, that's planbyty.com. You can go there and download. If you've purchased my book, if you're somebody who's bought my book Planned, again, on my website, planbyty.com, you can download that page actually and turn it into an app on your phone. So it's just one click off of your home screen. But on planbyty.com, when you go over there to get the book, all of these assets, everything that I have, and hear all the videos, even that little 59-minute video you see here, everything is going to be in here for you. Everything's going to be in here for you. I'm going to make sure of it because I want you guys to have, you know, what I have. I want you to have all the same material, right? So this drone was inconsequential, right? I couldn't tie anything with that drone to this video or anything like that. I went back into it again, I think right around October 20th, and kind of started getting into it again. Like, no, there's, you know, there's more there, right? And I'm glad that I never really let go of it, right? What I started to realize is, yeah, there's more there because this BA sniper guy, right? Let me go up here and show you something about this guy. Okay, I'm going to show you something real quick. This BA sniper guy, right? And the reason why I'm calling him the lookout now for the drone, let me be very clear. He was the lookout for the drone to make sure nobody was looking in that direction or had any business in that area besides looking at Charlie. Again, he's kind of one of the distractions here. So even though he's not really a distraction, he kind of threw everybody off. Let me put this up here. There you go. All right. Now, again, I will have all of this stuff available to you on planbyty.com. You can go there and get and download these files so that you can see them in landscape view. I'm using this mobile, you know, the kind of the selfie view like this, basically because everybody's on the go. You know, I don't feel like putting it to the side, doing everything, refactoring everything. It's just easier for me to hold it in my hand and edit this stuff as I'm going from day to day. And that's kind of what I've done, honestly. So I'm giving it to you in this format. I hope you guys can accept that. But I did a little bit of editing here to kind of show that this guy that ran across this platform right here, he ran from that side from the BA building down to this side over here. And what building is this? This is the PS building, Pope Science building. So he ran to these steps right here, right? Came down these steps and he's now down here in the audience. Let's see if we can spot him. There he is, right there. Okay. So there's the BA sniper lookout in the audience. Now, why he ran across the platform, ran down these steps, jumped into the audience and start looking around, only one can guess, right? So I started to kind of track him a little bit. Here he is right here. And he started following this police officer here, right? I noticed that Adam, the guy taking this video, he kept getting this guy in the video, though. He got him coming down here. He got him over here on the staircase, walking this way. You're going to see him come into focus again at the bottom of the screen again, right here. And if we just zoom in, you can kind of see he's just walking this path, right? We don't really know what he's doing, right? We'll follow him a little bit, see what's going on. That's him right here. And there's some kind of commotion going on down there that everybody's starting to kind of tend to, but we really can't tell what's going on. Let's go back a little bit. Let's look at it together. Here we go. We'll go back even a little bit more, okay? So we really don't understand or I don't anyway, right? What in the world happened, right? So here he comes in the picture right now to save the day. When nobody asked him to save the day, he walked all the way around. So instead of coming down these steps over here, these steps, he came from here, ran all the way down this way, came down these steps, waited for a police officer over here, walked around this way, came to the top of here, and then came down the steps and came over here. That seems like a lot of extra. That just seems like a lot of extra to me. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm wilding. I don't know. To me, it seems like too much extra. Like, bro, you're doing too much. Calm down, right? But you know, to each his own. This seems very suspicious. I couldn't find anybody else having this kind of activity besides this guy. And here he comes from up there. Kind of see him looking around. See him right here walking. Something's going on down there on the ground they're all looking at. I don't know what it is. I was never able to figure it out. I think somebody was on the ground down here. But again, still don't know what it is. Don't know who it was. Not really able to figure that part out. And then we didn't get really any footage after that. So that's kind of his path. He's kind of out of there. Now, this corner here on the building, let's get back real quick. There we go. So to me, he's definitely suspect. That's the best way to say it. Dude is extra suspect. To be running down that path when everybody's kind of running the other way, it feels a little diversionary. He's obviously kind of comfortable with the police. He's kind of following the cop around for a second, like kind of like interacting with his energy, kind of maybe already known to them. It's a security detail personnel. I'm not sure. So I don't really, know about his situation. Now, what I do know is this. Let's go up a little bit. Oh, don't want to get you guys into the good stuff yet. Hold on. We're gonna wait. We're gonna get to the really good stuff in a second, right? So I even thought that these little cameras right here may have been like I said, as far as Stephen Bendamoon's, the laser that he found, which was phenomenal. I even thought that maybe that these had something to kind of do with that. We're gonna go through these pictures real quick. Here goes our guy, the BA sniper lookout right here in the corner. Charlie would be right down here. This is the guy who asked him the final question. He's right here. Okay. Now we're gonna keep going. Guy with the final question. Here's the BA sniper lookout. What I started realizing, right, was this guy in his white shirt is standing in a very advantageous position. Let me kind of show you what that looks like on the map, actually. I like this map because I'm able to do a lot with it, right? So on the staircase, this guy is kind of looks weird on Google Maps, like kind of a very weird deal here, but it's okay. We'll get by, right? He's standing right here, okay? And the other dude's kind of standing right here, right? So if we look at that in relation to where Charlie was sitting, Charlie's sitting right here. You got a guy standing right here. And you got this guy standing right here. He's an older gentleman, again, outside of the demographic of the college people that were in attendance. He's definitely an older gentleman, but he's kind of just standing at a very advantageous spot. So that had me a little bit suspicious as far as some of the technology that I'm going to show you in a second. I just want you to remember him because he kind of falls into two theories for me. And he's not that consequential, but he's still a little bit could be consequential, right? So we'll just leave it open for that. This right here, the people talking about the shot that came from the open hatch that's in the tunnel, I'm only going to address it this one time and nothing after that. It did not come from here. All right. It just did not come from here. That's impossible. Everything is wrong with that. The trajectory that the bullet would have had to travel to hit Charlie, the way it would have impacted his body and disturbed his body. Just everything is wrong about that. Where the laser beam is, they're saying, some people are saying, was shining out of the back of the hatch vehicle there. The bullets that people are saying are coming out of the back. None of that's not happening. It's not real, guys. Like that's not a possibility. This hatch was open quite a few times. These are volunteers or something like that that are, that have this open, and it's just, just nothing works out. Even the sound mapping doesn't work out for the laser is too far bouncing off of the cell phone from Charlie. It's a good 15, 20 foot distance. The sweep of the laser would have had to span that amount of space, within a fraction of a second, basically, a fraction of seconds, just within a second, we'll just say. And that's just not possible. It's just not possible. But what we do notice is here's the BA sniper. Here's the thing that I kind of thought was suspicious, and I kind of ruled that out later. There's that guy with the white shirt on, And let's see, got a couple more pictures. I swore he was looking down at this. He kept looking over here, right? He kept looking over in this direction. I don't know if he was looking at the other gentleman that was over there. I just took a little picture of this right here because there's security cameras that are in this tunnel. They'll tell you the truth, guys. They'll tell you the truth. So here you have security cameras. You also have security cameras up there on that roof where I was showing you a second ago on the for the white building that's right next to the BA building, connected by that walkway right there, where that balcony was closed off for people. So you could fly a drone close to that region and nobody would be able to see it anyway. There's a camera there as well too. So there's a camera right here. You'll see a little light on it right there. But there's a camera right there, and there's a camera, on top of that balcony area as well. The UVU needs to release that camera footage. And if we look right here, what do we have there? We have security on top of the building above Charlie. And that's just one. I have another picture somewhere where I have both of them that are up there. There's one on this side because of the tape that's there, and you have another one that's on the other side with the tape that's there. So the fact that these people were on the rooftop above Charlie and they couldn't see somebody that would be on the SC Center, everybody deserves to be fired. If you were walking anywhere on this raised platform that was above Charlie and you had visibility in front of Charlie and over the tent and in front of Charlie, and you didn't see somebody crawling on the SC Center that day, you should be fired. I'm just being honest. I'm just telling you the truth. It's just my humble opinion. Again, we see him looking over here to that side. Something's going on. I don't know, but looking to the side there. And for a while, a couple theories out there about this little slated area right here in between the staircase, whether that could have been the region for it. And no, I don't think this necessarily could have been the region for it either, because you had people on the staircase. The sound mapping doesn't map out well. Just nothing there suggests that anything came from this particular region, right? Let's keep moving. So we've crossed out. It's not him. It's not anybody that's here on this area right here. It's not a laser that's coming from here. Now, what I did end up wondering is if it's possible, if it was so they have something, right? Let me show you well, I don't want to show you just yet. I'm going to show you in a second. But they have this laser that helps to guide munitions. So I was kind of wondering if it was a laser that could help guide a munition towards Charlie and, to kind of identify the target, if you will, which is what the gentleman in the white shirt could have possibly been doing in that fixed position. He wasn't moving from that position. That's one theory, right? I'm just kind of tossing that theory out there. I'm not as confident in that theory, and I don't really care about it much. I'm just bringing it up because it is a possibility, and it's something that I think should be looked into as well. But ultimately, that's what I think happened, right? I think that this was a combination effort. I think that the guy in the white shirt was there to do some kind of tracking or to be a part of it in some kind of way. I could be wrong on that, right? I don't want to put anything on anybody that doesn't belong there. The BA sniper lookout, in my opinion, was 100% watching this entire corridor, this entire area, this entire corner right here, this entire region, from being at this rail over here to being up and down this rail over here. He was definitely keeping a very close eye on this section. Completely abandoned, of course, this section when everything was said and done, didn't come down these steps that had cleared out relatively fast. So he would have had fast access to get down these steps if he wanted to check on the condition of Charlie or get up with the security team or anything else. Instead, he decided to run all the way across there, which was, again, it's kind of just weird, right? So in my humble opinion, after seeing, we'll go back, after seeing the, let's go back to, we can do it right here. All right. After seeing this, and this is just after the shot, right? This is maybe shot, 2 seconds after the shot, maybe. We'll say 2.5 seconds after the shot, because there's a shot, there's a little bit of a delay before, people are responding and reacting, like processing. And then it's like, okay, let's run, let's get out of here kind of ordeal. So between 2 and 3 seconds, this is what we see, a drone in flight, around this region that could have easily raised after a shot, raised in a diagonal fashion, backed up and raised, however you want to call it, but could have shot out of there very fast. These drones that are the military grade, even the commercial drones. I don't know if you guys have ever seen any of these commercial drones that are out there. They are extremely fast. They're so zippy. I mean, it is, I don't know the miles per hour per se, but they're fast, man. These things are horrifically fast. And I'm imagining that the military has the fastest drones possible. And I say the military for a reason. I told you guys that this was an operation. I mentioned that this is an operation. So let's get out of here. All right. So now that we know that these drones are here, what I did is I said, okay, let me go and see if I can find something to kind of, to see what's going on with these drones, So let's pause it real quick. We're not going to go through it too fast, right? So we're going to watch this video, and I was able to take out most of the bugs. I was able to take out the birds, okay? And what I tried to leave in this video that was left behind was basically the anomaly objects that were flying around that appeared to be drone-like in fashion. Okay, we'll say that. And what I've learned since then is that these drones work together. They can work in a swarm, in a fleet of drones, each handling their own part of the mission, having their own tactical part of the mission. Whether some are used to strike, some may be used for reconnaissance. It depends on what they're using the situation for, right? And these are very, very high-powered drones that are not available to the public. They're only available to these contractors that have built them. So there's a lot, guys. There's a lot. Let's walk through this video real quick, and when we get to the other side of this video, we'll talk about it a little bit more. Now, this video is 43 seconds, so I'm going to let it rock. I'm going to let it play through one whole time, and then after we play through one whole time, we're going to slow it down a little bit and go through it step by step, and kind of each one of them. So let's let it rock. I'm going to slow these down for you because these are really fast drones, man. And we're going to zoom in a little bit too, since we don't have the landscape version. Again, you can go to planbyty.com right there in the middle of the screen to be able to download the raw file yourself. All right. This is the strangest one. Number 5 is crazy. Number 5 and 6 are both crazy to me. All right, now let's go ahead and slow it down a little bit here, guys. So let's go to 1, right? 1 is just ridiculous. Now watch this. We're going to slow it down a little bit, and we can go not exactly frame by frame here in this view, but you'll be able to see, what's going on. So right there in the middle of the red dot, as you can see, we're catching an object flying by, rather fast. Now this here is not a bug. This is actually a real object just flying through, space and time super fast. That's all we're getting there, right? All right, so let's go to the next one. That one was really fast. This one right here, I wanted to show people what a bird actually looks like when you put it in negative and it's swooping down kind of. And I believe that number 2 is more like a bird, if you will. Take a look at it. It was fast, but it wasn't that kind of fast out of the frame where you're just like, oh my God, that was just, it wasn't anything like that at all. It was, real easy to kind of see that this thing was swooping down. Here we go. And when you put it in landscape view, it's almost like you can see the wings flapping on it a little bit. There we go. Back it up just a little bit. This one kind of like, this was a lot easier to see too. This was a very easy one. Okay. Oops, I went too far. Sorry, guys. You see the arc of it. To me, number 2 is a bird, right? Number 3, very fast, fast moving, fast flying. To number 3 again. Kind of see it streaking across the sky. See it right there, right above Ty. Planned by Ty. It's right there above Ty. And I was able to catch these things. I mean, you had to put it in negative to literally see them streaking. And please, guys, make sure you go go download. Definitely go check out my book so you can get access to this. I want you to be able to see it yourself, because some of these things are, it's phenomenal when you see it yourself and you can kind of blow it up. I'm not going to get all extra, in detail here. I put all of it together already. It's your responsibility to go and, check out the rest of it. It's going to be available for you. So this is the format I'm doing it in here, so you can kind of, see what you can see here. But go get the raw files off of planbyty.com. So let's get over here to 4. 4 was kind of just a quick fly off the screen kind of ordeal. So let's go through 4 real quick. Kind of show you 4. See that arc was that was definitely there was no flap to it or anything like that, like number 2 was. Now, this is the one right here that I want you guys to check out over and over. It's the 5 and 6. 5 and 6 really captivated my attention. They really took things to another level. And let me just pause it here, because I want you guys to really pay attention to this. Let's see if I can get this in the middle of the screen. Here we go. Watch this. Okay. This is just, let's let you know that these aren't insects we're looking at here. Just pay attention. You see that? That's not an insect at all. That's intelligent flight. Easy to see. Easy as day. And then if we zoom over a little bit or pan over a little bit and start it from here again, we can kind of see it flying into the screen from up over here, right? See, it kind of flies up, keeps going up, comes down again, and then does this kind of like zigging pattern, if you will, and more of a mechanical movement than a sweeping movement or a swooping movement like this drone. I meant not this drone, this bird one in number 2. That was obviously a bird, right? And I wanted to keep that in there. The more that I looked at it, I was like, that's a bird, and when you guys go and look at it and download the raw footage yourself, you'll be able to see it. Let me see if I can like kind of get in there with my, look at that. You see that, guys? You can kind of see the flapping of it, right? I'll try to zoom in a little bit too so you can get a better look at that. There you go. I'm going to start doing it this way. This is actually better. There you go. You can see the flapping of that, right? So we don't have to hurt our brains on that and trying to understand it, right? Yeah, that's a bird. So we're going to let that be a bird, but the other objects in here are definitely not birds, right? So watch this in 4K. I have super high resolution on it. When you go to planbyty.com and download it, so you can watch it in 4K. But on this day, for whatever reason, and all of this is right around the time that Charlie, within minutes before and a little bit after him getting shot. So there was more than one drone that was at this location. That is 100% for sure, right? We were able to get little flickers and glimpses of a few of them. We were able to get one major one up here. One number 6 is like the missile, right? So let me show you number 6. Number 6 is extra important, but it's super hard to get, right? I want you to watch right here on the screen, guys. I want you to pay attention to right here on the screen. Number 6 comes through like that, right? Number 5 is up here flying high in the sky doing whatever pattern that is. Number 6 comes flying through right here. Now, if there's no drones and nothing going on, all of this shouldn't be happening, okay? this just shouldn't be happening. But there's obviously something going on in the minutes right around surrounding this assassination. So let's just move it through real quick so you can see. Did you see that? We'll try to slow it down a little bit. It's harder to get when you're recording because my frame rate is a little bit lower because I'm screen recording for you guys. But look across the middle of the screen and you're going to see a streak of white light right here. There you go. Right there. It's so fast, man. There we go. And when we track this one back, it came from behind this tree. And it just flew out. I mean, no bird flies at that speed. So, you believe whatever you want to believe. Birds don't fly at that speed. So these drones could be seen. Some people reported seeing drones and stuff like that, but there was drones being flown by TPUSA, at least one drone that we do know of, where they kind of released that drone footage on Charlie's birthday back in October. So, we're just kind of being lied to about this whole thing. And it feels like they just don't want us to find the truth of, this assassination, just to be quite honest with you. But these people were using drones. They had a lot going on that day, a lot going on. And now that you kind of understand what was going on that day and exactly kind of where the drones were and stuff like that. Now, again, this is all going to be available for you to download and get your copy of the highest quality copy. Is going to be on planbyty.com. So come over, purchase my book. I hope you read it. Planned it's an interesting read. That's all I'm going to say about that. Read it and you'll see. Flick to the last page of the book and just read what the comments from the AI are. I uploaded the book and the comments from AI are absolutely it's crazy, right? AI is crazy in itself. A lot to be said there. But I uploaded it to the different AIs and the things that it had to say about Planned, I think you guys should go check out, the book. That's all I'll say about that. So check out a copy of that. And when you do, you can be, assured that this will be available on the site. I'm going to get all of it probably uploaded here in the next 24 to 48 hours. It's going to be tens of gigabytes, maybe over 100 gigabytes. I don't know. It's a lot, though. It is a lot that I have. I'm going to try to do more than what I have just in this folder, too, because I have other stuff, too. This is the stuff that I kind of have refined for me to be able to talk to you, talk to you guys about it in this format. So we've now seen these drones running in the background and be talking for a while now. You now know what they look like. I hope that you were able to get some screen shares in. If you wanted to get a lower quality version, you could do it that way. So now we know that there's drones on the ground. Now, why am I showing you all of this? Why did I take all this time explaining the BA sniper and kind of the fact that he's the BA sniper lookout and explaining the position for the drones? It is super important, guys. Super important to remember everything that I've said thus far, because I'm going to take you on a little bit of a story. Okay. we're going to go on a little bit of a story because this guy right here, Charlie Kirk, and a lot of people are fond of him, and they should be. He meant a lot to a lot of people, right? And I'm not going to take that away from Charlie Kirk. But what I am going to say is things are not always kind of what they seem, right? Even when you look at how the shape of this, and we don't have to get into all of that right now. I think it's called a menorah. Let me see. Hold on. What is the... I didn't save it on there. Okay. But when we look at this, things are not always what they seem. And these ritualistic assassinations, ritualistic unalivings, I'm still on these centralized platforms like YouTube, so I have to use their censored terms. But these ritualized unalivings that we see happening, they have a lot of calling cards. They have a lot of signatures. So I'm going to show you guys something. Now, we went through the whole BA sniper thing. We went through all of that. I wanted to come back to this card and show you this. This card to me is one of the wildest things that's out there. Okay. Why do I say it? Because these people are playing a game with you. All of us, I'm included too. I'm not like above the fray, if you will. But they're playing a game with us. And it's diabolical to think that they think they can get away with it and that we can't put it together and that we're all just, I don't know, that we're all just kind of, we've lost, our touch or something, or we just don't have it to figure it out. And you can kind of figure it out, right? And when you see cards like this, I don't have to ask you who that looks like. You know who that looks like already. And when you see these kind of cards for these kind of games that are out there that these people like to play and put propaganda on, to try to manipulate you, you can start to realize that they really look at it as a game, like Squid Games and the rich elite of Squid Games. They really look at it as a game, and you're just another person in that game. So why do I say all that? This man, I believe, had some talent. And I believe that Charlie Kirk was not somebody who was just some talentless person that, just didn't, I don't know. He understood some things about life. He lacked a lot of wisdom, but he had a lot of intellect. He wasn't dumb. But as you get older in life, you realize that it's not just your intellect that's going to carry you. It's going to also have to be your wisdom. And as your wisdom starts to supersede your intellect, you start to realize that the intellect is it's important, but it is not as important without that wisdom. Wisdom is everything. And Charlie did not have enough years on this earth to be able to obtain wisdom. He was on his way to wisdom. And on your way to wisdom, it's a little messy sometimes. You're going to say some bad things, and I'm not being an apologist for Charlie's ignorance, but I am saying that none of us can cast a stone. None of us. We all have sin in our lives. We have all done something bad. A lot of us have done terrible things, more than just say a few bad things on a stage. I can't find anybody in Charlie's past that ever said that he was a horrible human to them and he absolutely just did them wrong. No, he said a few things that we're uncomfortable with, a few things that are just flat out wrong and incorrect. And for that, I think that even he deserves to be shown grace because we were still all living under the same constitution that we were able to abide by our God-given rights. And that was snatched from Charlie. Now, what I do believe is Charlie was naive. And I'm going to kind of prove it a little bit in what I have to say here because we have a lot to talk about. I think that the people that were around Charlie did not take care of him. I think that they manipulated him every step of the way. I believe that Charlie Kirk was groomed. I believe that Charlie Kirk thought to himself that he was doing the right thing and he was just trying to live his life and explore life. And that cost him his life. And I'm not saying that other people shouldn't live their life and explore life. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is he knew that it would probably cost him his life and he still took that road anyway. There's more than enough evidence that's out now that shows that Charlie Kirk was aware of the situation that he was in, regarding his safety. He just was not in a good space regarding his safety and he knew it. And we'll just put it to you this way. When you're on the inside, when you're not safe because you know when you've broken the rules. I think Charlie was on the inside. I think you don't get that much donation money from that little country that we keep sending all the money and weapons to. You don't get that much from them without them putting you on the inside, without you joining their houses and lodges. You know what I mean? Okay. With that being said, I think Charlie said the oath. I think he was a part of them. Whenever I see individuals who go out of their way to do things like this for photographs, there's a lot to be said. That's all I'm going to say. What you won't ever see me doing is standing around like this in a photograph. You're not ever going to see me doing that. Now, that'll be the most that you'll be able to get in that little bubble right here on here. So don't be screenshotting and try to get me later on talking about, look, even he's a part of them. Don't do that to me, y'all. That's not right. But you'll never see me standing around posing for photographs doing this kind of stuff. I don't understand it because these people are, going back to what I'm saying, I'm being slow and methodical for a reason. Charlie is a very smart man, or was a very smart man. He knew a lot of things. He just was not wise. And he knew that this kind of symbolism means something. It means something. Anybody that uses it knows what it means after you get to certain levels. And a lot of these things are calling cards to the people that you're trying to signal and speak to, get the attention of. And it works. You know, we'll say it like that. It works. So I believe that Charlie was already initiated. I believe he was on the inside. And therefore, I believe that Charlie betrayed his oath. And in the betrayal of his oath with the power that he was basically groomed into having, I truthfully believe that Charlie Kirk was alive for that. Now, I'm being slow about this for a reason because I want to explain something to you before I move on. This is, again, I said it at the beginning of this video. I'm going to say it again. This video is not to target any one individual at all. Any of the people that say that they love Charlie at all. This video is just trying to get to the truth and expose kind of what I think has been going on for a very long time. And we're all being lied to about what is happening and how it's happening. And they're doing it right in our face. I believe that Charlie Kirk is in a long line of compromised men who were groomed to their position and status and power. They were compromised early and young by some of the decisions they made through being naive. That compromised nature led them to being groomed into the people that they became. And in Charlie's status, I think it was less about being compromised when he was young because of having some kind of, negative proclivities or something. I don't think it's anything like that. I think with him, he was like the innocent lamb that was supposed to be slaughtered, right? I'm not certain how Charlie's story was supposed to end, but what I do know is because of his innocence and because of how young they were able to get him on his path and on his journey, they were able to kind of build their natural leader from grassroots natural leader from the beginning, right? He excelled in academia. He excelled. He accelerated just in debate in general, in systems and understanding, analysis, things like that. He was a brain, right? And I think they identified that young. And I'm speaking slow for a reason, guys. They identified this young in Charlie, and as he came up through the school system and identifying that, they were able to target him based on having all of the right data points about Charlie. And that targeting process, I believe, led Charlie to being initiated, to being chosen young. I don't know if he became a Mason when he was young or DeMolay when he was young. These are organizations he would have joined. But either way, I believe that Charlie was on the inside from a young age. When that happens, there are steps that you go through. There's processes that you go through to become. And as you're becoming, the plan is to indoctrinate you deep enough so that you're not, so that you'll think twice before jumping out, right? You're locked in. It just is what it is. You're locked in. And They know that, and if you expose the secrets, the exposing of the secrets can cost you your life, basically guarantee death to you. And under the coding of the system for the initiated individuals, this is acceptable. It is outside the bounds of the Constitution, it is outside the bounds of law, federal and state laws, but it is legal amongst those who have decided. Listen to what I just said. It is legal against those who have decided. That is an access-based system that if you are in that system and you've accessed it, they've accepted you into that system, you now follow their rules and their laws that they are governed by. And if they govern all the cities, all the towns, all the states, and all of the federal government, then what they're basically telling you is their laws supersede all of the other laws. So as an initiated individual, Charlie Kirk did not have the right to say the things that he was saying. He had the donor money coming his way. Everything was being given to him that was good. He had the right people around him. He had the right shell companies and structures set up that were moving money. And I say shell companies because the way that these people move money through these corporations that they set up overnight and incorporate in places, that are friendly to fraudulent behavior. If you want, some people call it privacy, other people use privacy for fraud, right? So long story short, I believe that Charlie Kirk knew that he knew that he was facing an early demise because he knew the oath that he took, that he wasn't able to break that oath. And he eventually, I think, figured out that he was in the big boy game. You're in the big boy game. I can't say it any other way. And when you're in that big boy game, there's big boy rules. And I think he paid for it with his life. But I think that everybody who was in the know and in this system with him, and the reason why you did not see a lot of emotion from a lot of people, man, that you would expect to see emotion from. I'm not naming names. I'm not naming any names as far as personal names are concerned. I think the reason why is because they are all in that system. They're all in that system. All of them. I'm not joking. All of them. Maybe it's the same lodges, houses. What I do know is, though, once you're in that system, both the male and the female version of that system, you all know the rules. Everybody knows the rules, and everybody knows the consequences of betraying the rules. So if it has been decided behind closed doors that those consequences would be levied upon a person, certain people would absolutely be in the know, even if they were in the know just minutes before through text messages. Even if it was a day before or a week before, they would be in the know. And because of being bound to secrecy, they would not be able to tell Charlie, anybody around Charlie, but a lot of them are leaky, right? So they would start leaking stuff, especially on the internet. And as we start to see, the chatter leading up to his death had already started happening. That lets me know that this was decided. And, just like anybody, like the guy who took the photo, jumped over the table right after Charlie was shot. He was one of the people that shot him. And he jumps over the table that he's seen with Charlie's body on the ground, smiling. Duper's delight. These people were happy. These people were honored to join in on the unaliving of what they considered to be a traitor. They didn't look at him as a brother anymore. He wasn't one of them anymore. He was ready to put down the cause that was putting food on their tables. So as they began to look at him, he looked like the enemy. And they had faces that, to you and I would say, hey, these people don't look like friends, because they weren't friends anymore. Charlie was not their friend. They were there on a paid job. They had no love and compassion for Charlie. They weren't required to do so anymore because in their mind, Charlie had turned their back on them. Now, we know that's not true. Charlie changed his mind about how he feels about a nation state superseding America. And rightfully so. We live under a God-given constitution that should be protecting our Christian rights and values above all else. That's the reason why we have a God-given constitution, not anything other than God. So Charlie, I think, was looking for the religion that fit him, whether it was Catholicism, Christianity, whatever he was looking for. He obviously didn't want to be a Zionist, he was still searching on his road. But I think he had already made his decision as far as what fraternity he wanted to join. And I believe he joined that fraternity a while ago and knew the rules of, consequences. And whenever you step into those houses and you have those conversations with these gentlemen, they're clear on it. They're not going to, pull your leg about it or talk to you anything less than a man. They're going to talk to you like a man to let you know you're making man choices and decisions and you have to stick with it. And Charlie did not, in their eyes. So I say all of this because now with that backdrop, we can get into what the real heavy stuff is. I know it's gotten a little heavy right now, and it's just the things that I've said right here. I know you haven't heard. Just the drone talk that I'm doing right here. I know you haven't heard. This is going to be a long video. It just is what it is. Because you have to hear these things to understand the context of where a lot of this is coming from. Somebody out here, you could chop it down into the segments that are, fitting for you and, within 5 minutes for the crowd that needs it like that. For everybody else that's rocking out with the long format, thank you. Appreciate you being here. But we're going to go ahead and cover more of exactly how all of this unfolded. The company that's here in the United States of America that is centered literally in Israel, headquartered in Israel, but they have offices all over America and thousands of workers in America. It is a killer drone company. And they just so happen to be have an office right there, right at the street in Utah. Okay. They just so happen to be incorporated in the state of Delaware. There's so much I could say, guys. There's so much, but we're going to get to a lot of it right now. So hopefully you understand the backdrop out of a lot of this. You saw the angle of the shot, so you know that the shot is definitely a possible shot. We don't have to go through that. We know that the BA sniper is not the BA sniper who took the shot. He is the BA sniper lookout, making sure that no one was scanning that area or, trying to divert people away. I think with that weird run at the end, I think he was supposed to do that earlier. I don't know what happened. Anyway, just craziness. I'm happy we got a chance to catch up, and get a little bit ahead so far and understand where Charlie's position was in his life. Okay, because the next parts that we cover are going to be instrumental in understanding both Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. So let's go ahead and get to that.
We should recognize that this is pretty dangerous stuff. And my theory now, I feel confident stating that Charlie Kirk was taken out by something much bigger than Turning Point USA organization that he was running, and certainly much bigger than Tyler Robinson on the Losi rooftop.
So one I really enjoy that I just love learning from is Julius Caesar. I think he's one of the most interesting historical figures. If you want to talk about someone who lived a full life,
right,
it's Julius Caesar. From conquering northern Germania to surviving and winning a Roman civil war,
right,
to an unusual alliance and quelling a rebellion with Cleopatra, to eventually to ending the Roman Republic, to starting the Roman Empire, and then seeing the people that he benefited the most turn against him.
Man, that sure is something to hear him say that. The people who benefited the most turned against him. Gaius Julius Caesar, that is correct, a general who had rightfully earned the respect of the people for leading them through the Gallic wars, a statesman, and finally a leader who in the end was betrayed and famously assassinated by the very people that he helped to build up. A conspiracy, a plot to murder him, which included a lot of people, politicians, of course, the senators, military men, close friends and confidants, the most infamous, of course, being Brutus. Now, some reports say that he viewed Brutus as a son. That's how close they were. Of course, that didn't stop Brutus from plunging the knife into him.
All right, guys, we are back. Listen, I'm not even going to lie to y'all. That little pause I took, I got on a different shirt, a different hat, everything. This is hard information, y'all. So this hasn't even all been done in the same day. This has been all of this has been put together over a period of time. So this next part, guys, this is deep, but this is what we're here for. I want to show you why these things are happening, why you're seeing what you're seeing. It's important, guys, that you know what's going on. It's very important that you know what's going on. So I know you don't know what I'm about to show you because I didn't know it. And I've studied Donald Trump quite extensively. But if we're going to move on, if we're going to really figure out what happened to Charlie Kirk, and I've, leveled out some kind of broad accusations there that if this all went down and state actors were involved, in which 100% I believe, they were, and you're going to see here in a second. then it wouldn't have went down without the U.S. being complicit. There's no way we would have allowed this to happen on our soil if we didn't have the knowledge of it or help facilitate it. I don't think it was spearheaded by the U.S. I do believe that it was spearheaded by a foreign entity. Let's see. Oh, it tried to redirect me. I don't know what that is. What is this? Interesting. I've had this page open a few days and it's still trying to redirect me. Let me try to go up here and reload the page. Let's see what in the world is going on. Okay, guys, I don't know what that was about. I have no clue what that was about. So, anyway. So yeah, we're not going to accept these distractions. We got some real information to get to y'all, and I don't want to hold you back from it anymore. This is heavy information. So we said a prayer earlier in the video. Say one now, and if you'd like to, you want to cover your heart and your mind when you're dealing with this kind of dark stuff. So it's going to get a little dark, but let's go for it, right? Let's talk about what these people do and who they really are. So Donald Trump. The reason why I'm listing him here in this Charlie Kirk video, and I haven't done so before, is because of this information. When we find out what this little state has done, over there across seas, you guys know what state I'm talking about, with the blue and white flag. When we find out what the blue and white flag state has done throughout the years dealing with the U.S., we realize that we've been taken advantage of. And when we look at people like Trump, Epstein, and many, many others, many celebrities, many business people, we see that a lot of them are work on behalf of this little blue and white state, or if they don't work on behalf of this country, then they are sometimes, I guess you could say, operatives, right? That's the best way to really put it, operatives. So in these operatives, they don't have to be paid all the time. A lot of this has to deal with favor and being able to get into certain places and get access to certain things. That's how a lot of these secret societies operate. And like I said about Charlie, I believe that he got on the inside. I believe that, they kind of coerced him to probably come on the inside so they can, deal with him as a fellow brother, if you will. So Bibi Netanyahu has a lot of people that come to, matter of fact, I'm not even going to call him Bibi Netanyahu anymore. We're going to call him Mr. Not a Jew. Mr. Not a Jew. And check the screen for that spelling. But Mr. Benjamin Not a Jew, he's had a lot of people come to the country. And these people that he's had come to the country, they all go and kiss the wall and, y'all make their pledge. It's the same thing. They all receive their money and support and access later on. Maybe one of those things or a combination of those things. And quite frankly, that's why a lot of people do it. They want to stay in the favor. They want to stay in the good graces. They want to be within the club. Now, some people don't understand that this club is not just a club, right? It gets a little bit deeper. These fraternities, these interlocking fraternities for both males and females are not just clubs. These fraternities eventually evolve in your life into something else. And a lot of times it's into worshiping the devil. That's the best way I could say it. Satan worship, Satanism at the highest levels. So a lot of these people don't get in it for that. But over time, their souls become corrupted. They become corrupted. And they end up, kind of moving to that dark side. And I believe that this has been the truth of Donald Trump. I believe that he was vulnerable. And I know this can all sound weird, but I believe as a young man, he was vulnerable. There was not many rich young men like him during that time frame of the 70s. We're taking us back to the 70s now. And since there was not that many people that were like him, I believe that Donald Trump was naive and just kind of easy to mold back then. That's the best way to say it. And kind of the way that he shows his cards now. If you like him, if you flatter him, if you give him compliments, you receive great favor with him. It's a thing of when you boost his ego, the favor with that guy, goes to the roof. He'll turn the world upside down for you. But that's not good, right? That just goes to show that he's easy to compromise and that his ego is the most important thing to him. Now, why do I say all of that? Why am I saying all of that? Well, I say it to say this. This article was written, why does Donald Trump have a Hebrew plaque in his office? And it was written back in 2024, as I'm sure you've read on the screen while I've been here talking. You see the plaque right here on the wall. I'm going to read you something in this article that mainstream media hasn't covered, that I've never read anywhere else. And if this is true, which I do believe it is true, again, let's see the paper that it's in here, so you guys can see the web address too. There you go, jewishnews.co.uk. So it's not even in the United States, guys. Not even in the United States. Be honest with you, a lot of the articles I find are not in the United States. A lot of the articles I find are overseas, and this is where you'll find a lot of the best information about our country, unfortunately. So let's get to it. I needed to set you up for what you're about to hear because it's kind of jarring, right? So we're not going to read this whole article. You'll have access to it. Like I said, just go to planbyty.com there. And for the people who have paid for my book on planbyty.com, it's only $10. I think it's $10, but it's $10. It may be cheaper. Whenever you go there, whatever the price is, just go ahead and purchase that, and you'll have access to all of this, all the links, all the videos, everything, this video, everything. The raw copy of everything that I have. So it'll be there for you. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but I will go over Trump's words, right? He says, these awards are given to me by the Jewish community for different things. Trump said in a video of the tour, pointing to a few items on the wall, this is the Tree of Life, which is a very big award in terms of everything that I stand for. It means so much to me. A lot of times I'll have friends of mine come in, Jewish, and they'll see the Tree of Life and they'll say, wow, what a great thing. The Tree of Life award is handed out by regional chapters of Jewish National Fund USA. A 38-year-old Trump received his on March 1st, 1983, from the JNF's Tri-State Regional at a real estate-focused event. 1983, 38 years old, okay? The plaque on, that's, by the way, that right there is Trump's lawyer. Now, he, passed away in a bad way, I think at the age of 60. This is one of we could do a whole story on Roy Cohn. We could do a whole story on this, a lot there. And a lot of how Trump models himself is actually after Roy Cohn, his attorney. This has been one of the greatest people in Trump's life. Okay, but let's go on. The plaque on Trump's award reads, in recognition of his outstanding contributions to his city and to the real estate industry, strong humanitarian interest and support of Israel. So this is all about Israel. Now, this next part is going to shock you. Trump received the award shortly after he donated to the construction of 2 playgrounds, a park, and a reservoir in Israel. At least one of those parts has since been torn down because it was deemed unsafe, according to one local resident. Trump also contributed funds to help Israelis evacuate the Sinai Desert and resettle in southern Israel, near Egypt and the Gaza Strip, as part of an Israel-Egypt peace agreement signed in 1979. Let me read that to you again. But let me put my face here so you can see what I'm talking about right here. Look, pay attention. This right here. Matter of fact, let me highlight it for you. Let me highlight it because just in case you don't hear me, or maybe your audio is not working, it's fine. That's okay. I get it, right? But let me put that right here, and I'm going to point to it so you see what I'm saying. This right here. Trump also contributed funds to help Israelis evacuate the Sinai Desert and resettle in southern Israel near Egypt and the Gaza Strip as part of an Israel-Egypt peace agreement signed in 1979. Do I need to say anything else? Do I need to even say anything else? Okay. I know, let's let that settle in our brains for a second, because they told us for so long, Russia, Russia, Russia. But they never said Israel, Israel, Israel. They never said that. They never said that. It was almost like they tried to divert us. Almost like they didn't want us to talk about it. Did you know that during Passover, that a large portion, a very large portion of Israel drinks Trump vodka because of the way it's distilled? Did you know that? And they have been for years, a couple decades now. The U.S. isn't going to tell you stuff like that. The U.S. isn't going to tell you stuff like this. Trump also contributed funds to help Israelis evacuate. Trump also contributed funds to help Israelis evacuate the Sinai Desert and resettle in southern Israel near Egypt in the Gaza Strip as part of an Israel-Egypt peace agreement signed in 1979. What year is this? This is 2025. That's over 45 years ago. Did you hear what I just said? You're not listening. This is 45 years ago. On this Charlie Kirk video, I'm telling you that Trump has been an agent and an asset of Israel since the 70s. Epstein has been an agent, has been an asset of Israel, him and his dad, for longer than that. This is more than just Zionism. It's more than that. But if we're not paying attention, this is how they get this kind of stuff off. They have you looking in the other direction, looking at Russia, when really this was the play all along. The Democrats knew this. They know that whole man's record. They know everything about that man that there is to know. We don't know this. We didn't know that he had this much skin in the game, that Donald Trump is literally responsible for where the Israelis are today. Donald Trump is a big part of that, a huge part of that from the 1970s. And they buried the lead. They didn't tell us that. They forgot to tell us why Donald Trump is such a good friend to the Jewish nation. Listen, this is a long game. This is what they do. They played a long game. Now we're going to get into it more because I'm going to expose to you. Since now you know how long this man has been there. And we've been in this video for 17 minutes now, or something like that. It'll be a little bit faster. I like to speed these up. So we've been in this video for at least over 15 minutes, right? Now that you know, okay? Now that you know, we're coming back strong. I told you it was going to get deep. It was going to get heavy. You've not read that. You've not heard that anywhere else, that Trump has had skin in the game with Israel, and Trump is partially responsible for exactly where Israel is today because it was his money that funded for them to be there. Just like everything that's going on in Gaza right now. Okay? You don't believe me? All right, that's fine. That's fine. I get it. I get it. I understand. I'm not offended. Not offended. What does that say? Israel names illegal Golan settlement after Trump. Okay? It's called the Trump Heights. They don't like to talk about this stuff a lot. They don't like to talk about it a lot. All right. Now I like to say that Mr. Not-a-Jew and Trump, they like to fight a lot. You know, they don't get along all the time. And they're kind of like brothers. You know, they know they're on the same team and they have to do this together. But Trump doesn't like him that much, in my opinion. I've heard the things he said about him. I'm going to pull an episode, as a matter of fact, real soon, that he talked pretty bad about Bibi. So this is Trump has been in the game for a long time. He's really helped these people to get to where they are right now and to get settled into, get settled in their land and to continue to expand. This is why Mr. Not-a-Jew calls him the greatest friend of the Israeli people. This is why he calls him that. Okay. So now that you guys know this, right, and you can kind of see that this man has a lot of skin in the game, right? Let's move this show over to, let's go to, okay, guys, right here. So let's hop in here because now it's time to show you guys, and it's time to get even deeper, right? So basically what we just found out is our buddy Trump has a lot of skin in the game since the 70s. He's helped Israel literally become the nation state that it is today. Let me repeat that again. Trump is partially responsible for Israel becoming the nation state that it is today. Trump is responsible for Israel basically becoming a legitimate country. Okay. And he has furthered that agenda as he has gotten into office. So why am I bringing all of that up? As I said earlier, and I don't want to give too much away too quick, but as I said earlier, right, the This is a group of people who have committed a ritual assassination in public in front of everybody. So I'm taking my time to explain it because for the people who are in the back who may not be able to hear me as well, they need to hear this. They need to understand it. They need to understand who the players are and how they interconnect in a very slow way. The media gives you these little short clips. They're trying to dumb you down and make you, think slow and all this other kind of stuff. Don't allow it to happen. Be able to sit down for the long form sometime, right? So let's follow this through a little bit, right? This is Trump's friend, Epstein. We all know who this man is. This place behind him is his island. Okay, this is Epstein's island. Now, Epstein, I'm not going to sit here and, argue with you guys about anything. I'm just going to tell you this now. Epstein was a part of the Israeli Defense Forces. Okay. Epstein was not, that's his butler, by the way. This is one of the last pictures taken of Epstein on his private jet with his butler in 2019. I believe it was 2019. I have to look that up. But, oh, wait, here it is right here. Okay, I forgot I got this for you guys. I was Epstein's butler for 18 years. There's no way he killed himself. So, oh, yeah, here it is, 2019. I remembered it. So this is Epstein and his butler, and he's wearing this IDF shirt. Now, all this conversation about whether he was, a part of Israel and all this other kind of stuff. Of course he was, and this is what that is right there. Israel Defense Forces. Okay. Just so you know, guys, right there. This is it. This is what Epstein is a part of. Israel Defense Forces. Okay. He was absolutely an asset for Israel, right? And also for the United States government, because the United States government and Israel are the same thing. They're one of the same thing. Israel might as well either be a base or a state of the United States. It's our territory, basically. There's no other way to put it, right? Especially, you're going to see why I'm saying that in a second. There's no way we can even tear them from the United States of America. It's just impossible. You can't do it. And I'm going to show you why in a second, right? So what do Epstein and Trump have in common? What we notice that these men have in common is they normally don't have a lot of male friends around them. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing or anything like that, especially if, for married men and stuff like that. Like, you're not trying to have maybe a bunch of your single guy friends around you and stuff because you're a married man and whatever the case. So if I'm being very generous and being very gracious, I would say that, right? Epstein wasn't married. Trump was married. I'm being very gracious. So what I am saying though is, these men who normally don't have a lot of men around them, they're attracted to a lot of women. They are the type that are easy to exploit and control. And if they're men of means, or if they're tied in through lineage or affiliation, they are even easier to control. Why am I saying this? I am saying this because you need to start looking at the situation a lot different between who these men are, who Charlie Kirk is, who Donald Trump is, who Epstein is. And you need to start to realize when you see a person who's been groomed. Epstein went to, they say he went to prison, but that wasn't real. That was summer school or something. I don't know what they had this man doing. But Epstein is, let me put it to you this way. Epstein is an animal. There's no other way to really say this. Epstein is an animal. Donald Trump is an animal. I'm not saying that Charlie Kirk is an animal, but what I am saying is when you have a certain level of intellect, what they're able to do over time is to break you. So what do? They say, okay, here you are, you're this guy, you have these, you don't have a lot of guy friendships, but you have a lot of access, you have a lot of wealth, you like a lot of women. That's your thing, that was the thing for Epstein, that's the thing for Trump, and for many other men who are groomed, right? These men have this weakness. So somebody who wants to send or a nation state like Israel, who I'm just going to say Israel. I'm sorry, it is what it is. F it. But this nation state like Israel, they're going to send who they want to send, right? And whoever they send is going to be sharp. They're going to be cunning. They're going to be wise beyond years. They're going to have just a different level of intellect and loyalty to their purpose. When you look at Donald Trump, when you look at Epstein, These men were obviously being controlled. There's no other way I can say that. These men had a lot of access, but at a certain point in time, things start to look like a machine, and they look like just another part in the machine, right? And that's when you realize that these men are not just operating on their own free will. They're operating, I don't want to say under a joint mission together, but they're operating under a similar umbrella of understanding, right? And that's what I noticed between Epstein and Trump. Now, I'm not getting into the whole Epstein-Trump thing. I've already said my piece about where the secret tapes are in Palm Beach, and I even have a photo in here. Matter of fact, I'll just scroll up and show you real quick. I have a photo in here. This one photo I will show you. I kept trying to tell you guys that this home, this just is Jeffrey Epstein's home here. This home had a boat ramp. And the reason why the police sat here and seen the girls coming in, but they never seen the clients coming in, is because this waterway attached to Epstein's house had boats. And I am almost 100% certain that these boats would pull up here. The clients would get off. They would go inside. Epstein's office was right here. He had a hidden camera behind his office that looked out over this pool, right? And into this area, into this Bay Area back here. Now, if that is the case, this hidden camera that his clients didn't know about, that Trump didn't know about, nobody knew about. The Palm Beach Police Department knew about it, and Epstein knew about it. And they confiscated that video footage when they raided his house. So it's in Florida. And these are tapes that went on for, I want to say 2 years, but they went on for a while, these tapes. So they got the hard drives, they got everything, all the recordings, I'll just say, not actual tapes, but they got the recordings from the hard drives, from the computers. And since they got all of that, they would have gotten everybody who was at this pool, the girls that were walking by. One of the detectives in one of the police reports out of Palm Beach talked about seeing some of the girls that he was interviewing, talked about seeing some of them also on the video, the footage that these girls didn't even know that they were being undercover. They were being filmed. So Trump didn't know that he was being filmed as well, too. That's why he's fighting so hard for you to never, ever know this. If you ever know this, that this existed, that this boat ramp was here, and that clients potentially came up here by water the same way they did at the island, the same way that they did at the island. They came by water to get their services by the girls who are of the local community that came by land. This was an operation. This was an operation. The man was an asset. Did you expect it just to be everybody coming in the same door? All right, I'm off on a tangent. So wanted to kind of explain that to you and show you that no one's ever seen this, right? So let me bring it back up one more time just so you can see it again. Look, this right here where my face is, right here, that right there, okay? This. I'm trying to tell you guys, this is where the footage is. This is where the camera was. And there was another camera right here in the garage. There's two cameras. There was one behind his desk, and there was one right here in the garage that was meant to pick up all of the, it was meant to catch, I think his name was Juan Alessi, one of his housemen at the time that he believed was stealing money from him. And he did. He caught him on camera stealing money from him, and a gun. He stole a gun from Epstein too. So you don't hear about any of these stories because none of the reporters out there read anymore. I actually read the papers, so I know what a lot of the complaints were. I read a lot of the Palm Beach documents, and everything is there. Everything is there. Everything is there. So why am I saying all of that? I'm saying all of that to let you know that this is way beyond normal levels of you and I, okay? This is way beyond levels of how we live. And some of you are, Christians. Some of you have other faiths, but I personally believe in Christ. And the way that this country is designed is kind of in that way. Excuse me. And if you live this normal lifestyle, these normal rules with the normal constitution and your Bill of Rights, and you're out here fighting for liberty and justice and freedom and all of these things, then that's normal to you. These people don't care about nothing that I just said. Nothing. They live outside of the law. Their handlers, normally these women who are tied into Israel as well, like Elaine Maxwell, okay? These handlers that handle these men and get them their needs and make sure they have what they want and make sure that there is order at all times in their life. These are handlers, okay? These women that handle these men so that these men can get close to families like the Rothschild, okay? So this is when not only are these people Zionists, These people, in my opinion, practice Kabbalah, right? And that's Jewish mysticism for a lot of you that don't know what that is. If just go Google Kabbalah and you'll understand a lot more. Do not jump too deep in that hole. It is a very deep rabbit hole. You don't want to stay down there too long. Just know that it's Jewish mysticism. It's evil. It's bad. It's wrong. And a lot of the people who are in Hollywood, who are in big business, politicians, the Zionist ones, some of them happen to also practice Kabbalah as well too. It just is what it is, guys. This is the world that we live in. These people do not live by the same rules. They don't live in the same society. I know you think I'm long-winded, but I'm telling you all of this for a reason, because I need you to understand what happened in Charlie's world. It wasn't just as simple as some kid climbing up on the LC Center and taking a shot. That's not what happened at all. So I'm explaining to you their world and what they do, how they think and how they move. So basically, Donald Trump had, in my opinion, and I don't know how this all played out, but this is just my small opinion about this situation. I'm going to move, and you're going to see where I'm about to pivot to in a second. Jeffrey Epstein was in the care of Donald Trump, and he unalived himself. Nobody believes that. I don't believe that. Nobody believes that. You probably don't believe that either. So we'll just say this. Under the presidency of Donald Trump, one of the assets of Israel, just like Trump himself, was taken out. Now, as he was taken out, the new connection, the new businessman, the new in guy was put in power. Donald Trump. Trump is Epstein's replacement. The way that they were able to use Epstein as an asset to connect everybody to him so that they can gain secrets and information and knowledge, well, they groomed somebody bigger than him. Trump. Trump is Epstein's replacement. So when you saw that conversation going on between Maxwell and Trump, you had the power dynamic wrong. In their world, Ghislaine Maxwell is not below Donald Trump. It's a whole nother story. Okay? He will always take care of her, and she will always take care of him. That's not going to change. Don't ever expect it to. So these people are playing a game in front of your face, behind the doors of their fraternities and their organizations. They play a different structured game, more that resembles the hidden hands that you see and the hidden figures that you see in Squid Games. It resembles a shadowy cabal of people who are just wicked and evil and do very evil things. So I tell you all of that to tell you this. Charlie was in a world filled with people who do not live by the rules of you and I. This is the world that Charlie was in. Okay? He didn't know this. He, Charlie's young, he's naive, he's just trying to make something of himself out here in the world. So he joins and he becomes a part of these people. When I see him doing stuff like this and other people, like I said in the last video, you won't see me doing it. I understand in that world what it means, right? And a lot of us do, and we're not in that world. So a lot of things let me know that Charlie was likely a member of that world. And when I see stuff like this, and a lot of people don't know things like this, and I'll have this article up there too. This is back in 2016, almost 10 years old. But this is a young Charlie Kirk. Okay. Last weekend, I spoke to a room packed with 200 high school and college students. Their attention was switched on, phones switched off. They'd given up a glorious Southern California Saturday to sit there taking notes and serving up great questions. Why? And all she's about to talk about is basically the teaching these students about Ayn Rand. Okay. And I'll let you guys go and do your research about who Ayn Rand is. All right. You guys go get your research in about who that person is, Ayn Rand, and you'll understand that, Charlie had a lot of work to do. He had a lot of work to do, but he wanted to be accepted, and he wanted to accept other people, and they exploited him for that. That's why they exploited Charlie Kirk. He was easy to exploit. He was vulnerable. He was gullible. He was extremely smart, but access to him was extremely easy. And they exploited that, promised him the world, made him feel the love, the support. They're already got their organizations and their crowds and who they are built up. And he sees partnership and building. And this is what he's wanted. And he couldn't be happier. Meanwhile, these people who are older, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing with these high school students. They know how they're shaping the minds to think. Okay? This is real stuff. These people really, really, listen, let me get you back over here. These people really, really, really indoctrinate the children from young. They pull them up through the organizations. They pull them up through the ranks, especially the really smart ones. They get them early. Okay? Now, what they hope to do is turn them into Epsteins, good operatives who are loyal to the cause, who will always make sure that they're putting their master first, even above their own interest. That's what the grooming is about. It's to place these people in a position where they are subservient to the cause, so that they are doing the will of an Israel, so that they're making sure that they're getting the proper intel and keeping people tied in, through blackmail and everything else. So these people are groomed because their handlers are normally people that are smarter than them. This woman, Ghislaine Maxwell, is smarter than this man by light years. This woman, Ghislaine Maxwell, is smarter than this man by light years. She ran this man's show, whether it's from the financial side of his show or from the young girls. All of the business contacts. She ran part of his show for some time. That's why he's seen with her so often. Okay? You got to understand how these things work, folks. Like, this is how these things work. It is what it is. They don't want to tell you what their secret society is and what they're a part of and the things they do behind closed doors. The man told you out of his own lips he's not a Christian. He told you that out of his own lips. I'll make sure that video is in this group of videos too. It's not in this folder here, but I have it, and I'll make sure that you guys had it. And he told you he's not a Christian at a TPUSA event. At a TPUSA event. Christians, you got to get out and vote. You got to get out and vote. It's the last time. It'll be fine. We're going to fix it. It'll be the last time you have to get out and vote, Christians. We're going to fix it. It'll be fine. My Christians, I'm not Christian. I need you, Christians. You got to get out and vote. Almost verbatim, while they were cheering. It's infuriating having to explain this stuff this slow because a lot of people are so far behind in understanding what they're actually looking at. They're living in an alternate reality that they think is real. They think Republican and Democrat and all these other things are real things. These are constructs that are created to control you so that you don't ever get to self-determination. While these people play on the other side and they rely on self-determination and loyalty to one another to build out their cause. It's an access-based system. It always has been. You just thought it was a merit-based system. It never has been that. Let's move on. So we have a lot of information sitting on our heads right now, but it's going to get a little bit deeper. Come on, keep swimming with me. We got a little bit more to go, and we're going to bring it home because we got to get to these drones. I got to show you why this is happening first. This is a long video. I told you it was going to be long, but you're going to appreciate all of it when you get done. It's a little dark. The energy's a little dark. I get it. Let's keep putting God first. Let's keep plowing through this so that we can understand all of this. Again, this is not a script. I don't have a script anywhere. I'm just talking you through this, okay? So this is Jeffrey Epstein's New York mansion. All right. This is in his bedroom, outside of his bedroom, in the staircase, I believe. And if you'll notice a camera that's up there, let's flip through these real quick. Now, what you'll notice here is everything is in blue and white. Look familiar? Of course it looks familiar. Okay? Of course. The agent loves his colors. Okay? I don't know what that's about. I'm sure I could AI it and find out what it's about. I just know that me and none of my friends have that in our house. And if you're watching this video and you've got this far along, your friends probably don't have that in their house either. Just going to put that there. Camera right there, hidden camera in his bedroom because he's, likes to record the stuff in there. There's the bedroom. That camera, just so you guys know, is right up here, corner. See that right there? Okay. Right there, guys. Excuse me. So you see the blue and white. Now, why am I showing you all of this? This is where it gets a little bit deep and dark, guys. This is on Epstein's island. This is his temple on his island. For those of you who didn't know, welcome to the real world. Epstein had a temple on his island. And this is the sex temple on his island. Here's the thing about this so-called sex temple on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Here's the thing about this sex temple. It was built with concrete walls and special kind of insulation inside for padding, meaning it was completely soundproof. You couldn't hear anything inside of that temple. If you were standing right outside of it, you couldn't hear inside of it. If you're on an island in the middle of nowhere and it's your island, why would you go out of the way to make thick walls and, filled concrete and other insulation, so that you have absolutely no sound that can escape and get out? Tell me what kind of weird, sadistic, twisted mess that is. Okay? Then you find out with a closer inspection, and thank you for Luke Radowski for this at weirdchange.org. These are older pictures that he snuck onto the island. These are painted doors. So what you were just looking at, yes, what you were just looking at, and what everybody's been looking at this whole time and thought that these were real doors on here, they've never been real doors. These are painted doors. All the doors in this temple, on this temple, are painted. Okay? Now, it has been said that there is probably access under the temple. There's a bunker that goes under Epstein's property. Yes. You've never seen this picture before. I know. You're shocked. I was too. This is a bizarre underground bunker dug into the side of a mound. Excuse me, on Epstein's island. Now, this bunker that goes underground, it's on the side of a mound on his island. This bunker, do you think it was maybe used for anything nefarious? Let me also give you another clue. When Donald Trump and Epstein stopped becoming friends, they fought over a property there in Palm Beach, right around the corner from both of them. They only lived 1.8 miles away from each other. They hung out with each other all the time. That's why I know Donald Trump was in that house in that video. But the Epstein went to Trump, and it was this property he was trying to get that was right on the Atlantic. And Epstein was on the interior waterway. He wanted that property was on the exterior waterway. And based on how the access was set up and everything, I can only imagine why, right? So I'm happy he didn't get the property. What ended up happening was Donald Trump snaked him out of the property. I think the main reason that Epstein wanted that property, this is something that's very underreported, what I'm about to tell you. And that's why I'm taking so long to tell you all this stuff, because a lot of what I'm telling you is just really hard to find. It's not really out there, just like this picture you're looking at right here. But a big part of that property that stopped them from becoming friends is Epstein wanted that property, in my opinion, because it had a 50-car garage underneath of it. What property have you ever seen sitting on the Atlantic Ocean? Just honestly, it's right there on the beach. It's basically on the ocean, with a 50-car garage under it. So I think that messed up Epstein's operations and what he wanted to do with that space that was under that house. And I think that Trump ended up not utilizing that space in the same way, but instead saw it as an opportunity to make a profit. And I think he made like $40 million off. He made an obscene amount of money off of that property by selling it to a Russian like a year later or something. So these underground bunkers, okay, this is 2 instances now that I can tie Donald Trump and Epstein to underground bunkers. One is right there in Florida with the 50-car garage underneath the property that they fought over. 2 is this underground bunker that is on Epstein's island that probably everybody who ever went there that made it to the temple, we're going to talk about that in a second, again, talk about it some more in a second, that made it to the temple probably had to go in through here, right? Now, let's see what this is right here. We'll get to that in 1 second. So here's the island, and let me just kind of show you here. The temple is back here, guys. Look at my mouse up here at the top of the screen. There's the temple. See how it sits on the top of the mound? Now, I think that the area to get in, that underground bunker area, I'm not exactly sure where it is, honestly. It could be here. It could be up in here. Wherever it is, you can see how raised up this temple is and how the slope, right here coming down from this mound, there's a lot of space up under here, guys. Way more space under here than there is above. Did you hear what I just said? Way more space under here than there is above. So if a foreign nation wanted to be running operations out of here, there's ample space to do it. But that's topics for another day. So back to this, and you see Epstein here, of course, always with young women there. And you'll see the stuff that they had up on the top here, these painted on doors. Now, let's go back for a second. Some more stuff for you guys. Now, this is before they took all of the stuff off of it. They had a dome on top of it. It had these, evil, just looking stuff all over it and around it. Now, I don't know what all of that stuff meant, but this person here does. So I was able to find out a lot. In case you don't know who that is one of the Podesta brothers. I believe it's Tony Podesta, and who is Hillary Clinton's, was Hillary Clinton's right-hand man, basically, and also implicated in Pizzagate as well. And we're not going to get into Pizzagate because it does, yes, all of that ties into this. Absolutely. So if you're the Podestas, the Clintons, the Gates, and I'm just saying that for Bill. I'm not saying that for his wife. But if you're these types of people, coming here means something. And let's read over this at the top. Epstein's temple is the clearest public representation of the occult doctrine of ascension through transgression. Did you hear that? Ascension through transgression. This little temple is not a happy place where you just sit out and watch the water. This is where they practice their rituals. This is where Zionism takes a turn and becomes extremely dark. And when we talk about practicing the Kabbalah and things like this sex magic and all of this, when you read up on the 14 and the fish, okay, I'm not going to get into all of that on here on this video, but I am going to leave all these assets for you guys so you can look into this, okay? You're going to want to know more about this. And matter of fact, in this graphic here, it shows you, more down here about the 14 and the fish. So when you know what, for purposes of this, let me just read it to you so you can understand it, okay? Because it's kind of weird. It's beyond weird. 14 plus fish in the Osiris myth. Osiris was murdered and cut up into 14 pieces by his brother Set and scattered throughout the land of Egypt. Osiris's wife, Isis, set out to find all of the pieces of his body to resurrect him. She found all but the 14th piece, his phallus, which was eaten by fish, now cursed because of this, in the river Nile. Isis made a phallus out of gold and temporarily resurrected Osiris so she could conceive a child. Their offspring is the god Horus. 14 plus fish equals the male phallus, symbolizing power, sex magic, and resurrection. Now, are you looking at this temple differently? The horrors that went down in here, ascension through transgression, the lives that were possibly lost in here. It's not a game, people. They do not live in the same system as you and I. They were not going there to talk business on the island. This is the only business that the island cares about, is if you're going to join the innermost parts of their organizations and their cults, this is what you need to do. This is the step. And old buddy right here was the gatekeeper. This guy. Okay? He's the one who took you on that path. He's the one who helped you to ascend. He didn't care about your daughters. No. It was all a part of him becoming a god. These people have, remember we talked about the egos? These people have ego flaws. And when they are groomed properly, this ego is turned into making them believe that they can become gods on earth. You defile and corrupt these men of intellect and access and make them believe they can become gods on earth and do your bidding. Is it starting to sink in? You starting to get it? All right. All right. So, why am I telling you all of this? I am telling you all of this so that you understand that these people are not you. These people are not me. These people live a different way. They don't care about your legal system. They don't care about your judges. They don't care about your lawyers. They don't care about your politicians. They don't care about that. They care about their club. They care about their group. They care about their, basically, cult. These people are all indoctrinated to believe what they believe, and they don't care what you believe. They don't care if you think you're in a Christian country. They don't care. You know how I know they don't care? 2 words. Charlie Kirk. Okay. And this video too, I'll leave this little video in here for you guys too, so you can see it. Another YouTuber had crept up to Epstein Island, and they kind of like showed a trap door in this video that the person claims that they saw when they looked into the window that's there. All right. I'll make sure I share this video with you guys too. This video is hold on.
Israel is ruling.
This video, as you just heard, fire. I found this out there on the interwebs. I cleaned it up, took the music off of it, and so it's just the audio, but I'm going to make sure that this is included. This is like an AI breakdown, but it is super thorough and accurate. It's really good. So I'm going to make sure you guys have that on planbyty.com. Make sure you go to planbyty.com. You can get all these assets. They'll all be there for you so that you can know what you're talking about. You can put your own hands on it. You can go ahead and zoom in, see all of these things, right? Now, I've told you everything that I told you, and we've gotten to this point where we're about to get to the drones now. And I'm going to unveil the name of the company and, show you the drones and all that kind of good stuff. I've shown you the drones probably about over an hour ago now. Where are they at? Oh, they're right here. I've shown you the drones that are here. And again, this asset will be available. I believe it's 5 and 6 on here that were really just something else. Especially, let me see. Hold on. This was powerful, man. Let me see which one it is. There it is, that one right there. That is just deep. It just goes to show, look, just goes to show, and that 6 that just flew by, that was crazy. All right. So I showed you the drones. You know that there was definitely things flying in the sky, during, that time with Charlie Kirk. And also TPUSA themselves had a drone in the sky. They released a video on Charlie's birthday. I should have put that in here. I didn't bother to get it, though. What is going on, guys? That is crazy, man. All right. So my microphone went out. Got a little bit interrupted there, and we're back. I think I left off talking about the drones. TPUSA had a drone up in the air. There was several other what I could only describe as military grade drones because they were so fast. You just, it is extremely, extremely fast. They're hard to see with the eye. That's how fast they are. So that's why I had to, do what I did. And let me show you that here and one more time, so you'll understand what I actually did here. All I did is take this video right here and make it negative. So if you find a guy, Adam, I can't remember his last name right now, who took this long video, I think it's like an hour and 4 minutes long, if I'm not mistaken. I basically just turned the whole video into a negative, and that's how I was able to see everything flying in the sky. Okay. So that's how I was able to know that there was more than one drone in the sky. There was actually activity going on in the sky that just can't be explained on a regular day, let alone on that day 9/10. So, it's just, it's silly. It's really silly for them to think that we couldn't figure this out. Like, oh God. So I'm going to take you to the heavy stuff now. Let's get to these drones, guys. I know what you're here for. I know what you're waiting on. I get it. I feel you saying, yeah, we hear you. We hear you, Ty. What about those drones? So let's get to the drones. We'll go over here, grab us up some drones. Actually, before then, let me just introduce the company to you. Guys, here we go, Elbit Systems. So listen. A little bit more water. Here we go. Here it is. Woo. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Elbit Systems. Listen, I know you haven't heard of this company. 99.9% of Americans have not heard of this company. even though a little bit over 3,000 American workers actually work at this company. Now, I know you're saying, hey, how can that be? It says it's an Israel-based international military technology company and defense contractor. That's how. Listen, guys, super simple. Our military, the guys and girls in uniform, used to be one of them in the Army, guys and girls in uniform, they're the ones who serve just the American citizens. We work alongside the people from the DoD. We work alongside of third-party vendors, such as contractors. And you need to know that the military apparatus is not just men and women in uniform. So it has many parts. And when you realize that, you start to realize that there's a whole segment of the government that never really gets talked about, and that's these defense contractors. And that's where we're going, guys. So Elbit Systems, defense contractor, I'm sure you've read that on the screen. I'm not going to, baby you and read all of this to you, but as you can read here, it is an important company within the defense industry of Israel. And it is an extremely important company, multi-billion-dollar company. And you see the headquarters, I believe that's pronounced Haifa. I might be saying that wrong, but that's how we're going to say it today. Founded 59 years ago. You see that? 1966. So it's been around for a while. Now, mind you, like we spoke about earlier, Trump is also part of the reason why Israel has the borders that it does today. So, and that happened in 1979, I believe it was, with the Israel-Egypt peace agreement. But, so for you guys and girls who are 45 and under, we weren't even alive. I'm in that group. I'm 45. We weren't even alive. Think about that. All of this happened before us. So the person who's sitting right now in the White House was also a part of making sure that Israel was okay and getting along well and getting settled well in the area where they are today. And now he's in charge of making sure that they expand. And this company that you're about to see here is largely a part of helping Israel to expand. So in 2022, Elbit Systems had 18,407 employees, most of them based in Israel. In a 2025 investor relations presentation, Elbit Systems reported having 20,000 employees, with 3,200 of them based in the United States. Elbit Systems shares are traded on the Tel Aviv and NASDAQ stock exchanges. 3,200 people right here in America that work for Elbit Systems. Now, I know I told you Elbit makes the drones, and I know you're looking at these like, come on, man, you're tripping, bro. That drone did not, take out Charlie Kirk. You wilding right now. You're doing too much. I know you're saying all the things right now and doubting that I've done any kind of due diligence. I assure you that is a mistake. So here's where Elbit Systems of America is based in the United States. Its headquarters office is based down in Texas. And I'm going to leave all the links up so you guys can read a little bit more about this. I'm not going to get, super boring about it. But, just letting you go ahead and read a little bit about that. There's a lot of information about Elbit to go over. And we don't want to get too far into the weeds in this video with that. This video is already super long. So this information would make this video extremely long. We don't want to go there, right? All right, so let's keep moving on. Now, I want to show you why it's interesting. Elbit has offices all over the United States, even right here in Layton, Utah. Okay, Layton and Ogden, they're kind of like side by side together. It's a very huge military intelligence community. That's the best way to say it. Military too, because there's the Air Force Base there, but it's a huge intelligence community that's there, right? So you're going to get a lot of these defense contractors in these intelligence communities. That's just the nature of things, right? I kind of live in a hub that's like that right now in Virginia. So it's, this is kind of how these things are centered. You have your military bases and you have your contractors that are kind of right there, right around, and you have a lot of your DoD employees and stuff like that, and they're kind of all just come together in one, right? And Layton, Ogden, places like that are much of the same, right? So with that being said, as a matter of fact, I was just in Layton and Ogden a few years ago and last year too, but I have a video from that. Where's that video at? Let me see. Hold on. Let's go look at that real quick. I remember I put that in here. I pulled it out of my storage just so you guys could see what it looks like around there. This was back in 2022. So as I'm scootering around the city, enjoying this beautiful day, you come across this work of art. Ooh, it's nice. Nasty. Tell me that's not nasty. That person's stupid. So as I'm anyway, I'm being a little extra. But that's me, you know, out in let me see. That was taken in Ogden, that particular video. So it's an area that's, you know, as you can see from the video itself, so let me scooter on it, turn that off. But as you can see, just a mountainous area, a lot of buildings like that, a lot of governmental kind of looking buildings, a lot of infrastructure that kind of supports the contractors and that kind of a community. So good communities and stuff like that. Lovely place. I enjoyed myself. I was there. You see me, you know, scootering around, having fun on. I think that was the first time I got on one of those. Is 2022. So had a good time. You know, it's definitely a nice place to be. Good community. People are nice. But that's neither here nor there, right? That's just to let you know that these places are in these little quiet communities that very small population. I'm not even going to bother to look up the population of Layton. It's the size of, you know, it's small. It's nothing. But in these places, they house companies that are multi-billion-dollar companies. You know, this is a multi-billion-dollar international company that's just sitting in the middle of Layton and Ogden. But because of what they do with drones, because of what they do with so many applications of what they have here in our military as a defense contractor, they're able to be integrated around our Air Force bases and all different kinds of bases. You know, it's not just Air Force bases. And let me kind of show you here. This is from, as you can see, actually, you may not be able to see it. I think you can see it on your view, but this is a .mil website. So I want to show you guys something real quick. Let me type this in for you. There we go. So we kind of go into here, and the way I did it before is just to kind of make it easy on myself. So work smarter, not harder, right? That's what they taught us in the military. I still try to use that to this day, so I'm not getting myself all messed up. Copy. Showing you guys a little trick right now, to be honest with you. There you go. So as you can see, right? Look at this. Now, this is just the one that's right here. Look at the one below it. We should have actually did this one below it right here, because that's the one of America, right? So it shows you it's right there in Fort Worth, Texas. All right. Get your phone number, zip, all the information, and the DUNS number right there. But look at the one that is actually highlighted. That's the headquarters office right there. So where is that at? That's not here. That's in Israel. But you don't see them listed on here. You have zips over here. I haven't cross-checked these. I'm sure that the 000. I'm sure that's not right, but I don't know if these are. But I'm looking and seeing that you don't even have, you know, you should at least have the country there, you know, if it's not going to be the state, so that people know. But no, you don't know. Nobody knows. And all of them are in Israel. Okay. So that's very significant for a reason why I'm showing you this, because this is showing you the defense contractors, and this is showing you what their codes are and where the money actually goes. Okay. And if you'll look at the code here for Elbit Systems of America, they have their own code here. But for all of these that are at different addresses in Israel, they all have the same code. Okay. Just a, you know, interesting observation there. So I'm showing you that for a reason. Right now, let's move on from that. This is the defense contractor list, just so you know, the defense contractor list. It is extremely long. So we're not going to go down that whole list, but it is very, very long. But Elbit is obviously on here, but you see Elbit Systems of America is on here, but the other 4 entities are the ones that are actually in Israel. All right, let's move on. I want you to see how this works now, right? Now, we are on another government website. This is war.gov, as you can see on the screen right there, U.S. Department of War. It's the actual website. This is contracts for 2020, Okay. They put this stuff out there so you can read it, guys. So we're going to read it. And you tell me if you think that this is fair. Okay. Pay attention. Elbit Systems of America, Fort Worth, Texas, is awarded, we'll say $32 million, a $32 million modification to increase the ceiling amount on 5-year indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract for the procurement of an additional 76 helmet display tracker systems. Did you see that? Indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity. Okay. Contract for the procurement of an additional 76 helmet display tracker systems, major assemblies, provision, ordering, item line items, engineering services, and support equipment. This procurement will support the Navy, all of that. Work will be performed in Haifa, Israel, 99%, and Fort Worth, Texas, 1%. In accordance with 10 U.S. Code 230.04c1, this modification was not competitively procured. Read that again. This modification was not competitively procured. There is only one responsible source, and no other supplies or services will satisfy agency requirements, meaning we are only working with Elbit. We're not considering anybody else. We haven't put the offer out there for anybody else. We're just basically telling you that only Elbit can do it. It's a non-compete. We don't want to compete with anybody. Only Elbit can do this. That's basically what you're reading, guys. Okay. Future 76 helmet display tracker systems procurements are expected to support the Naval Air Systems Command and foreign military sales requirements. Now, we can go on and on and on, but the meat of it all is right here. Okay. 99% is going to go to Israel. 1% is going to go to the United States. Okay. And it's a non-compete contract for $32 million, meaning this is just $32 million given to them for a 5-year indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract. No compete. It's $32 million for those guys. They're the only people in the world that can do it. It's impossible for anybody else to compete for this space. It just has to be Elbit from Israel. And it's not being performed in the United States. It's being performed in Israel. But I'm sure there's some kind of requirement that says you have to have at least 1% of the work being performed here, or a percentage of the work being performed here. So they do 1%. Now, how do I know they're playing games with us with that and with these, these workers that are here in the United States? I'm going to show you why on the Google Trend results. When you look up Elbit for Israel, okay, for 2025, it's all over the place. Elbit in Israel has, 20,000 people working there, which is a lot of people. I'll show you the building here in a second. But you see, people all over Israel are researching Elbit. It has plenty of search history, right? We'll see if the same is true for the United States. Well, what do you know? Flatline. Kind of like nobody at all is just even searching. Nobody's checking for them. Isn't that interesting? Don't you guys find that interesting? And those are all me. That's all me right there, just to let you know. So look at this. Nothing. Look what it's set to. Worldwide. So not in the place where 99% of the work is, there's plenty of chatter about Elbit and what is going on in Elbit and Israel. And the place where there's only 10% or a little bit more than 10% of the employees, there's no conversation. There's no talk. There's nothing except for recently when I, dug into this research. So I find that very interesting. Very, very interesting. And this is on Google Trends, you can't make this stuff up. It, if anything, looked more like a shell company. And I'm not saying that it's exactly a shell company, but I am saying man, this is kind of I don't know, just something doesn't feel right about that. I feel like how all those other search results got scrubbed or they're not available. I feel like this has been altered. I really do. This is an American corporation well, an international corporation with an American face to it that receives government contracts all the time and has a few thousand workers here in America, and we can't get any search results until I started searching. Let's reload this page just to make sure we're not tripping, right? We want to make sure we're not tripping here. Nope, we're not tripping. What's that right there? Kazakhstan. Wonderful. Guess not. And this is what I'm saying, guys. Like, this doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense, and we don't even know why that's not showing up. It's showing up on here now, but it's not giving us anything. Might be a glitch or something. I don't know. What I do know is this obviously is not a glitch. This looks intentional. There's no way that this is all zeros. So we'll move on from there. So what I want you guys to also be able to see is that, before we get into like actually showing you the drones, because I'm going to show you the drones, of course. And I know you want to see what the drone looks like that shot, Charlie Kirk. So we're going to go into that a little bit because that's what this whole video, is about. But I want you to see how in bed with the government Elbit Systems is. So when you ask these questions like, why can we not get away from Israel? Why can we not have, why are we so intertwined? Israel and the United States are one. That's why. There is no such thing as getting away from Israel. It's just not a thing. We have to be honest about that. And I'm trying to help you guys to understand that the quicker you understand it, that we have to be honest about this, it'll be a lot easier for you to get behind the fact that this is not going to ever change. I'm just being honest with you guys. It's not ever going to change. It's going to be something that consistently goes on because look at these contracts are multi-million-dollar contracts that happen for things like, look at this, laser target, designator. They come up with these long titles, long names, give out these non-compete contracts to these companies and give them millions of dollars and let them go play around and, develop stuff. That's what happens. So while you think we're just giving money away to Israel for no reason, no, there's a lot of contracts that are happening in the background that, for all intents and purposes, Americans could be getting the work in these areas, but we're not getting the work there. It's being sent offshore and not to China. It's being sent to Israel. We have a lot of guys and girls here who would love to, have the opportunity to even try to make something for our military. And they don't even have the opportunity because these are non-compete contracts unless they go work for these, Israel-based companies. And if you get a job at the branch here in the United States, you're obviously not going to be doing anything because all the money and all the work is going to Israel. All right, guys. All right. Listen, check this out. Elbit makes a lot of different types of weapons. They don't just make drones, guys. They make everything, right? Again, I'm going to leave these links for you so that you can, check this out yourself. I'm not going to jump too deep into all the different types of weapons and all the things that they use, but I did notice this on the page and I wanted to read this to you. Launched effects. Our launched effects systems act as force multipliers, enabling manned aircraft to deploy unmanned assets that perform collaborative engagements to neutralize high-value targets with precision. Let me say that just a little bit louder. Enabling manned aircraft to deploy unmanned assets that perform collaborative engagements to neutralize high-value targets with precision. You can't make this stuff up, man. So for those of you that know enough about the Charlie Kirk situation, this was a part of the conversation at the beginning when this had just happened to Charlie Kirk when he was just assassinated. I recall seeing online someone talk about drones being launched from a plane. And I was like, man, these people are getting out of control. They're getting completely out of control because we're not getting answers from the official sources. They're saying things that just getting a little wild, a little wonky. Let me read it again. Our launched effect systems act as force multipliers, enabling manned aircraft to deploy unmanned assets that perform collaborative engagements to neutralize high-value targets with precision. Okay? Listen, guys, I'm just, don't shoot the messenger here, right? I'm just trying to show you who Elbit is, what they do. Okay? All right, let's go a little bit further. Maybe that doesn't, you don't understand it from that, point of view. I get it. Let's go. Let's go a little bit further. Matter of fact, let me show you who Elbit is and what they do. What one artist on YouTube thinks of Elbit. We'll go with that first, and then we'll move on from there. We'll go a little bit further down the rabbit hole just to see a few more things, because I want to really expose this to you guys so you can understand what's going on. Let's get on over there and check that out real quick. Where would it be? Let's see. I think that it is. Ooh, we gotta still go over that too. Okay, yeah, guys, we got a couple of things that we still need to get through, and we are going to get through. Oh no, no worries. Oh yeah, we got to get through this too. Whew. There's a lot of good stuff here to get through, guys. We'll come back to it though. We'll get through it. Don't worry about it. I think where we need to be is in photos right now, right? So let's get in there. Let's check it out in here. Is this it right here? I think this is it, guys. Again, these assets will be on planbyty.com. This is it. Now, I'm going to let this rock. I'm going to let it play. And you're going to see what some folks think of Elbit here, okay? I'm going to let it rock from the beginning. I'm going to move that out the way. There we go. Let's turn it back. I need you guys to watch this with me, okay? Pay attention. It's only 2 minutes and 55 seconds. I don't even care if I get the copyright strike or whatever. Again, this is going to be on, this is going to be planbyty.com. So it's not like, you won't be able to see it uncensored anyway. But we're going to let it play. We're going to let it rock. Listen, just watch. This is for fair use, guys. Just want you to see. Nope. That's crazy. That's wild. That's wild. Wow. That's wild. You see what I'm talking about, guys? This is this right here is exactly why we need to be worried. The whole time that the Gaza situation is going on, if you're in America, this is not something that you've been taught. This is not something that you've been told. I want to give proper credit to the person who made that. That is this individual right here, shot, drawn, and cut here on YouTube. And you read that there, screenshot that. And again, basically he's talking about the people who are complicit in the Holocaust of the Palestinian people. And I would agree in that phraseology. I think that terminology is absolutely correct because that is exactly what's happening. So I just want you guys to see that. You get an idea of exactly what we're talking about here. This isn't something that, and then, this is of course, by air, using drones and stuff. Let's go into here real quick. Let me show you something. All right, guys, we actually found the article. Here it is. It was actually the one I was reading to you. So look, check this out, guys. From night vision to ground vehicles, Israeli firm Elbit eyes U.S. expansion. Now we're going to scroll down a little bit in here. Again, I told you I'm not going to take you too far into the weeds, but I do want you to see this. It's not just from air, guys. It's not just from air, okay? That right there is Renan Horowitz is the president and CEO of Elbit Systems of America. That's the one that's here, right here in America, that has no traction on Google. No one's ever seemingly searched for it in the last year. And that one right there, that's the guy. Now, let me make sure that's the guy. Let's see when this article is. 2022, so he's probably still the guy. Okay. Check this out, though. That's not important. That's less important. Listen to this. I want you to understand who this Israeli company is, okay? Keep game. As the firm has grown, it has acquired different defense firms in part to gain access to the latest tech. Again, it's acquiring other businesses, okay? So this Israeli company, defense contractor for the United States military apparatus, is now buying other companies to add to it to make it a larger company. So this international company based out of Israel is buying up U.S. companies to make itself larger. And this is an intelligence technology-based kind of company. So they're buying up intellectual property and intelligence to further enrich itself, make it more powerful and more consolidated. And they're buying that right out of the United States of America and co-opting it into this Israeli intelligence force, into the IDF. Okay, let's keep going. As the firm has grown, it has acquired different defense firms in part to gain access to the latest tech. Last year, for instance, the company acquired Spartan Corporation, which specializes in undersea warfare, for $380 million. The U.S. Armed Forces have realized that underwater threats have become real and imminent. This is especially in the Asia Pacific arena, but not only there, Horowitz said. We develop and supply not only advanced sonar buoys, but also underwater delivery systems that can be used to launch different loads from submarines and other seaborne platforms. Spartan is a major supplier to the U.S. Navy, and that allows us to be involved in the most classified programs. He's telling you, out of his own lips, right there. Spartan is a major supplier to the U.S. Navy, and that allows us to be involved in the most classified programs. This is a clear example of corporations buying into secrecy, buying their way to the top, buying their way into the infrastructure of where they want to be to gain and garnish U.S. secrets. So while the U.S. just released a man to Israel not too long ago, released a man to Israel who told a whole bunch of secrets of the United States secrets to Israel and supplied them massive amounts, like a storage container, storage locker, filled with documents, that many documents to, and more to Russia by himself. During a time frame when it was hard to get documents out, he was taking that many documents out to share with Russia. This man was locked up for 25 years. Now, they don't need to worry about using people like him because they can just use defense contractors and just buy their way into positions and buy out smaller companies because they've gotten big enough now where they can buy out smaller companies to get access to the most classified programs. Are you comfortable with that? Are you comfortable with that? Doesn't seem like they care whether you're comfortable with it at all. So they're going to keep doing, what they do. So let's move along. I do want to show you something else real quick here. And not everybody agrees, with these people. And I certainly don't. If you're reading this, you probably don't either. And let's kind of just read this article a little bit. Again, all these articles will be linked so you can kind of read over them, the full length of them yourself. But until then, we'll go ahead and go over it a little bit, here. Here it is. Elbit Systems is apartheid Israel's largest arms company. It is privately owned and provides 80% of the weapons and equipment for Israel's land forces and 85% of the combat drones used by the Air Force. Did you hear that? 85% used by the Air Force. That's just like I was telling you about Jeff Bezos running 83% of the ebook space as a private company and not disclosing what his numbers are that he makes off of ebooks, because it is literally billions upon billions of dollars that he's been making for decades now. Whenever you have companies that bully their section, and they're taking up a major part of that section of the income that's available, of the manpower that's available, of everything that's available, and they are that the main supplier of that segment of whatever it is, right? In this case, it's 85% percent of the drones that are used by the Air Force. Whenever you have something like this, one, it's a monopoly. It's really close to a monopoly. Two, it is normally too big to fail and tied in with the government in some kind of way, whether it's a backdoor program or something. But when it gets this big and it becomes this singular, that's the word I was looking for. It's consolidated, it's concentrated as far as the data. You're normally working hand in hand with the government at that point. 85%. Listen, it doesn't sound like they're trying to get drones from anybody else. It sounds like they have their company. So what I'm telling you is, Elbit is the main company. It is the main company. Elbit is the main player. Okay, let's read a little bit further on, because not everybody is happy with Elbit. So we gotta, even financially. All right. Elbit Systems published its financial reports for 2024 on March 18th of 2025, as it held a short shareholder conference in Hebrew and only gave partial answers to a few questions from the audience. President and CEO Matt Mackless tried to convince the shareholders that Elbit Systems is prospering, but kept the company's earnings and projections unchanged. He brushed aside concerns about the company's growing backlog of orders, which it has failed to fulfill, and explained the slowdown in new orders by a financial event, which he refused to disclose. So it seems like Elbit's having a little bit of problems. Backlog of orders, can't get their work done. Okay, taking on too much that they can't handle, just to be honest with you. Elbit Systems did demonstrate with a presentation and video how its weapons are used extensively by Israel's genocidal army, tested on Palestinians in Gaza. Okay, just telling you, what some of the perspectives are out there. Now, let's be honest. Let's just be very clear. Well, I don't even want to go into that yet, but I'll just say Elbit is not the only manufacturer of these killer drones. They are not. Okay, and we'll get into that a little bit later on as well too. And just to be clear, when they manufacture these drones, the people who are using them, it would be wiser just to manufacture them where they're going to be used at anyway. Meaning, why manufacture them in the United States if you're going to be using them in Israel? So sure, you should manufacture them in Israel anyway, just from a business standpoint. I don't think you should be manufacturing them at all. But from a business standpoint, of course, you wouldn't want to manufacture them in Israel. That would make sense. So that's where the money is going until our country needs the same drones. And then where do you think they'll be manufactured at? To the point closest to where they'll be used. All right. We'll get into that later. Don't worry about it. Look at this. Also in May 2024, Elbit Systems was disqualified from a contract worth tens of millions of dollars for handheld laser rangefinders for the Canadian Armed Forces, ostensibly because it didn't meet mandatory industrial and technological benefits. So it seems like these, as a matter of fact, I think I have an image of, let me see if I have an image of these right here, of these glasses that they're talking about. I believe I have an image of them, the rangefinders. Let's go over here. And I believe that's these right here. Yes, laser designators and rangefinders. Those are those right there. So why is that important? These are important, guys, because if you can see right here, when I said that we had the infrared beam that was popping up, and I showed the infrared beam that Stephen Ben-Danoon found, I knew then that the angle that they were telling you that it came from was absolutely wrong, and that it was coming from behind Charlie Kirk instead, because I knew that I was either looking at something coming from the scope of an actual gun or a rangefinder. So, and again, these rangefinders have laser targeting, on them. So then you wouldn't be able to see this laser in the daytime. They may show you some cartoons to make it look like you can see the actual laser, but you can't really actually see the laser in the daytime. But through the special lens, you can, and whatever is targeting whatever you're trying to target, whatever is going to hit it, you can see your laser as well too. So that's what I was saying about the laser in the Charlie Kirk video is, no, it's not going to be picked up by just the regular eyes, but it is going to be picked up by that screen that it was reflecting off of, which gave away its existence, that there was absolutely an infrared beam pointed at the back of Charlie's head and neck at the time that the shot went off. And I don't find that it's just a coincidence. So these rangefinders seem to not be working as well as they're supposed to be working, according to what's being, reported here. Now, let's get back over here. I want to kind of continue on with that a little bit more. Just to be honest with you, I want you guys to read some of that there. I think that was this one here. Okay, yep, that's what it was. Make sure we got the right one. Yep, not a good year. Okay. So these rangefinders, they didn't seem to be, they didn't meet the requirements and didn't have the technological benefits that they were marketed to have. So it seems like Elbit, and I'm painting this picture for you because I'm letting you know who this Israeli company is, right? They create these killer drones, but now they're having financial problems. They have a backlog, and they're not really doing as well as they'd like to put out that they're doing. And now that the war is winding down, how well do you think they'll be doing? I think it's going to get a lot worse for these guys, for Elbit, but let's keep reading. In November, the British Ministry of Defense scrapped the Watchkeeper program with Elbit Systems, a flagship project of Elbit Systems, because of the drone's unfortunate tendency to crash. Let me get some water. Unfortunate tendency to crash. Your main product sucks. There's no other way I could say it. So much so that the British Ministry of Defense had to scrap the whole program, meaning they wasted time and money on drones that can't even stay in the sky. You can't make this stuff up, but yet these are the people that are getting non-compete contracts in the United States. Make it make sense. This is why I'm taking my time to tell you all this stuff slow, so you can start to connect the dots. These are the people getting non-compete contracts, the ones who can't keep their drones in the sky. But when you're targeting Gaza, just as that cartoon showed you, it doesn't matter whether you keep your drones in the sky. Who cares about quality control when it can crash and blow up? And it doesn't matter no way, because you're not worried. It's indiscriminate killing. You're not worried about who is actually being affected. All right, let's keep reading. This is crazy. I know, it's absolutely wild, but let's read this next paragraph right here, as a matter of fact. Let me move this out the way. There we go. Oh man, it's it's deep information. It's a little bit heavy, so I apologize, guys. I know you're feeling a little bit heavy, going over this with me, but we have to talk about this information. We have to do it. We got to expose the corruption that's happening at the top that allows them to take our money, give it away, just literally give it away to companies who haven't even properly earned it. Companies who have gotten big enough to basically buy our classified programs, to buy them, to buy access into them. And the company is not able to perform internationally up to a standard that is, acceptable. But yet this is the company that we're okay turning over our most classified secrets and programs to, and they can't even keep their drones in the sky. Let's keep reading. Aside from its persistent involvement in war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide, a pattern of professional failure is by now part of Elbit's trademark. Failure is by now part of Elbit Systems' trademark. Only over the last months, Elbit Systems faced technical failures and was linked to scandals of corruption, allegations from India to Switzerland. So the corruption and the allegations they're out there already, guys. I'm painting this picture for you, and I'm giving you this kind of the slow route with the scenery, because I'm walking you into something with Elbit so that you'll understand exactly who you're dealing with. Yes, they are a very large part. They are basically the IDF, right? But they're not even that good. They fail a lot. Professional failures, technical failures, scandals, corruption. This is the name of the game. I showed you where they steal IP. They just steal intellectual property. It's a part of the business model. It's a part of the game for them. Meaning not only is this company not good at keeping its word, but they're also kind of incompetent, guys. I mean, internationally, you're having your orders canceled. You're having people openly come out and say that your products don't work, basically. If you're a drone manufacturer and your drones can't stay in the sky, then that's a bad day. But when you're in the business of taking lives like Elbit is, again, your products don't have to work 100%. You can afford to crash wherever you want to crash because you don't care about, human lives. So they have a very inferior product, meaning other people could probably make better products than these people. They're not, they speak with a lot of big words, but they don't deliver well, right? So let's keep going. It just seems like we're forking over money to a company who is incompetent, and we're giving them non-compete, contracts with indefinite time frames and indefinite quantities, and contracts that just renew. It just feels like we're just giving them money. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see. There's more stuff. Look at this one here. Well, look at this one right here. In Denmark, a political fight is ongoing over possible corruption and misleading information given by the defense ministry to the parliamentary committee. Also in discussion is Elbit Systems' technical failure to provide a military-grade GPS guiding system to the artillery, offering instead only a civilian GPS system, which is vulnerable to hacking and jamming. Did you hear that? A civilian GPS system. You can't make this up. This is a company that knows that you need to use a military-grade GPS technology so that you can avoid any hacking and jamming for something that's as sensitive as sending an explosive into an operative's home or close contact spaces. You just use regular GPS. And I don't know if you guys have used regular GPS like I have, but it's not reliable all the time. Without hacking, just normal reliability is just not that great all the time. This is what we're talking about. This is the people that we're giving tens of millions of dollars to for no reason. For no reason, we're just giving it to them. Okay. There's more. Let's just go over this last one so I can paint this picture to you who Elbit is and why we're giving them our money. In December 2024, the Swiss Federal Parliamentary Finance Committee wrote to Swiss Minister of Defense Viola Amherd, warning that commissioning the Elbit Systems UAVs was not progressing, and that Swiss defense contractor RUAG, probably not saying that right, which is now also embattled in large-scale corruption allegations, needed to fix the problem. The delivery of the 6 UAVs was already 10 years delayed. When the Swiss Air Force was surprised to discover that the aircraft lacked a critical component for operating in the country's airspace, kind of like that GPS issue. In order to fly, they would have to be accompanied by a helicopter. You can't make this up, y'all. The GPS doesn't work on the drones. They crash all the time. They don't know how to make them country specific. They're behind 10 years on 6 UAVs. And then when they deliver the UAVs, not only are they subpar, but in order for the UAVs to fly correctly, the way that the purchaser of the UAVs wanted them to fly, they have to be accompanied by an extra helicopter. Give me my money back. Give me my money back. You didn't do anything that I wanted you to do. Give me my money back. And that's what this company Elbit is. And that's enough about their technical failures, because in security concerns and business misconduct, we can go on and on and on, and I'll make sure that you have all of this information about, the movement against Elbit. But this is kind of a global movement, okay? This is something that tons of people, okay? Tons of people are highly, highly vested in, because Elbit is they're destroying communities, literally. They're destroying the fabric of community, social fabric, because of just the the dissension that is happening between people, you know, who just don't agree with having this kind of technology in their backyard being developed to take out other people. And I understand that, you know, it's a horrible thought to just think that this is going on in your backyard and that these things are being created that are going to ultimately destroy the lives of other people. And so it's looking bad for Elbit in a lot of countries. And to me, you know, I could kind of care less, because again, when you've done this much damage and destruction to people, maybe that's what should happen to your company anyway, you know? Now, let's move on, guys, because what I want to show you here next, we're getting close to the end of this thing. Now, you've seen what happens in this cartoon here for the Gaza Strip, for Palestine. These drones they're not a game. They're not a joke. They take lives. It really happens. Women, men, children, everybody. All right. So you got to know that, guys, that this isn't something that just popped up and just started happening. No, these people have been doing this. They just have not been showing you. In the US, we don't talk about this. This has been going on for years. For years. And this situation that happened with Israel's borders being down and them being invaded for, I think, 20 hours or whatever it was, and they just couldn't muster up a response. It was happening, you know, these drone killings were happening before that. But they ramped up a lot more once, you know, war was declared and basically the Gaza Strip was flattened. So let's keep moving on. This is sad. I know it's a little bit deep. I know it's a little bit dark, but I took these pictures here just to show you that this is what they do. They work with lasers. They work with digital sight. They work with augmented reality. Okay. So, you know, all those displays as far as like what Apple has and what's the other one? I can't remember the other one right now, but the gamers know what I'm talking about. But, you know, they have the augmented reality displays where you can kind of see everything kind of virtually. Well, you know, these people seem to have it too in the battlefield now too. So I want you to see kind of where Elbit's vision is, kind of what they're working on, you know, lasers, sights, seeing better, you know, whether it's night or day, having the advantage through sight, you know, and that is kind of what is going to help guide whatever munition it is that they're going to use to destroy their target. So they have to have that tactical advantage of being able to see better. And I'm saying all that because of the high quality laser that was actually used to assassinate Charlie Kirk. There's only a few companies that are able to produce things like this that can actually see target acquisition, that can actually see the target, identify the target with AI, with augmented reality, and be able to eliminate the target. Okay. And it just so happens that this company, Israeli company, okay, with Netanyahu's prints all over it. All right. An IDF company happens to also be based in Utah. Just happens to be. Okay. And they have all of the technical specifications as part of their qualifications that they are as a company. It is exactly who they are as a company. Everything that you would need to make this happen, this company produces to take the shot, to take this kind of a stance and position. So in order to make this happen, that company has all the technology for this situation. And they're based right there in Utah. Okay. One of their branches anyway, this Israeli company right there in Utah. Listen, guys, you can't make this stuff up. So what we're going to do now, I think I've pretty much shown you everything that I wanted to show you. I do want to I want to show you one more video here. Actually, I don't want to get into this video. There you go. I'm going to drop that for you guys, that video, and it'll be, you know, it'll be included as well. So you'll be able to check that one out kind of on your own. Excuse me. I actually want to skip over that one, and I want to just go ahead and take you to the end. It's time, guys. So before we get there, let me just kind of tell you. Now that you know everything that you know about the Charlie Kirk assassination, now that you know everything that you know about Donald Trump, about Benjamin Netanyahu, now that you know everything that you know about Elbit, is it easier to come to a different conclusion other than what the media is feeding you as far as Tyler Robinson is concerned? Because I know that once I did all of this research and started connecting all of these pieces together, it became easier for me to see that Tyler Robinson is just a patsy. He's just a fall guy. He's not the real deal. He's not the person who took the shot with the 30-06. It didn't happen. So Ask yourself that question, weigh the information that they're giving you and just blindly telling you, and then weigh it with what I'm showing you. I'm showing you who these people are. I'm showing you what these people do, how they think. Okay? I'm showing you. So I'm going to show you one last thing, just so that you know that, yes, these people really do make this technology. And it's not really one last thing. I'm going to show. Matter of fact, before I even show you that, let's go here first. Just before I show you that, I want to show you something. This is important for you to know. German ship carrying explosives for Israel allowed to dock in Egypt. And this is in 2024. Okay. Now, I'm not going to get into this whole article here. I'm not going to bother to read the whole article. Basically, long story short, this ship couldn't dock anywhere else. Okay. And it was headed, to Israel. And they basically wouldn't let or headed from Israel. Sorry. They basically wouldn't let the ship dock anywhere, but it was 100% cool with Egypt. And Egypt basically said, well, look, it's not that we were allowing it to dock with us. It was just that it was dropping off a shipment for us already anyway. This is actually, here it is. There are deliveries, and there will always be further deliveries. Israel can rely on that. Israel can rely on our solidarity now and in the future, he stressed. So basically, he just tried to say, hey, those explosives weren't ours. It was just a delivery of other stuff. They were busted. Okay. Egypt and Israel should not be working together when it comes to explosives and when it comes to, military. But yet here we are. So I'm adding this in here and showing you this so that you can see how these things are interconnected and how there is a cooperation in the background, right? And it's I think it's through the UAE is how they make the connection with Egypt, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what I was reading. Let me see here. I don't see it in this article, but I believe that's the connection through Egypt is the United Arab Emirates, I think it's called. So it's kind of like a proxy connection to Egypt, and this is how they're able to do things like dock their explosives in Egypt, and kind of get away with it, and kind of fly under the radar, if you will. I'm saying that because of the Egyptian planes in the United States. And for a lack of better terms, flying under the radar is exactly what they were trying to do. And if Egypt is willing to help Israel when it comes to explosives and things like that on these ships and having a place to dock, I doubt that they wouldn't be willing to help in an operation, that Israel is saying that they must carry out. So if they needed to borrow a plane or two to kind of fly under the radar and keep things low, maybe deploy drones, maybe just for reconnaissance, maybe to just jam cell phone, I don't know, but maybe to drop off a couple dignitaries. But I happen to think these were operational military planes that were meant to deploy and, and gain information and to work hand in hand with the drones that were there, kind of like what I was reading to you earlier. So whatever the case, it would not be far-fetched now to believe that Egypt could work with Israel. Now, could Israel also be working with France? Yes. Now, this is going to shock you of why I'm saying this. And I'm not going to get deep into this, right? But I am going to say what I'm going to say. And it just is what it is. Look at it for what it is. The same country that is worried about giving you this guy and this guy connected through this woman, okay, this honeypot, the same country that is responsible for this, you don't think they're responsible for infiltrating other countries and doing the same thing? I'm throwing out a wild plot, but I'm just going to say, were Brigitte Macron's parents of any Jewish descent, like her father? Is there a possibility that Brigitte, at a very young age, when on the inside, like a young Charlie? Is it possible that Brigitte is still on the inside? Hence why such a frantic reaction of making sure that the world leaves this individual alone. Next to another powerful man who was groomed at a very early age. This is what I'm saying is you have to look at the world differently. You have to understand these things differently. These people are manipulators, okay? That's who they are. That's who they are. So I just kind of wanted to show you that, guys, before, and let you know, yes, France can work with Israel because France is probably our biggest ally on the low in the EU because of the relationship between Trump and Macron. And things are changing over there in France now. But, I'm just giving you guys an idea of how this power structure goes. And when they select new people, these new people follow the same agenda. They're not going to select people that are going to break code. Once they get power, they don't lose power. They make sure that they maintain that power by replicating the energy to the next person. So if it's not Macron and Brigitte and whoever else, is going to be another person who's friendly to the Israeli cause, because they're going to be on the inside. They're going to go and kiss the wall and all this stuff. All right, let me show you, and this will be the last thing I show you, and we'll close it out with this. This is heavy stuff, guys. Make sure you pray after this stuff because it's just heavy, right? All right, let's go ahead and let me show you guys right here at the end. This right here, guys, this is called Birds of Prey. All right. This is what I believe. This is an extremely, extremely fast drone. These drones can move a few hundred miles an hour, a couple hundred miles an hour, meaning they can move in a blink of an eye. Hard for you to see. You'd never be able to defend yourself against one of these. They're way faster than you. These drones are ridiculously, ridiculously fast. And they're ridiculously accurate as well. So I want to introduce this to you just to kind of show you. As a matter of fact, before I show you the video, I know I'm holding out. I know I'm doing it to you guys. I'm sorry about that, but I'm trying to make sure you get all the information, guys. I want you to get everything about this because it's worth knowing, right? You don't want to be in the dark here. I don't want to have you in the dark. I want you guys to know exactly what's going on. So let me take you over here to the Birds of Prey. Oh, here's like one of those gun range finders where I was kind of thinking that maybe this guy over here, show you this real quick. Where I was thinking that maybe this guy over here that I had circled earlier, show you. I thought maybe he was holding one of these range finders, but that's not the case here. That guy who was right here in the white shirt and standing right here, I thought maybe he had the range finder to kind of help out this guy. And it still could be that way, right? It could have been a hybrid approach to ensure that the target was acquired. They could have used, some redundancy in that approach to make sure that there was no mistake being made, no technical mistake being made. So I don't know, but that's neither here nor there now. It kind of just is what it is, right? Let's move on from there, and let me go back here and show you this. So this is Bird of Prey, drone-mounted remote weapon system. And as you can see, this is very real. Here goes a long gun. There you go. And have the little grenade launchers there. I mean, this is the real deal, guys. That's what you're looking at right here. This is the real deal. These are operational. These work. And this is exactly what you were just watching in that cartoon, except that this isn't a cartoon. This is real. Now, are all of these going to crash and fail and hit the ground? No. They're going to get some of these working, especially for the countries they want them working in. Okay. Key features: unmanned small arms aerial solution. Supports several types of weapons, fully stabilized fire control system for drone platforms, stabilized optical sights, visible day HD camera, thermal camera, advanced auto target tracker, and auto target recognition. Okay, this is what I mean by the duality of having the rangefinder with the gentleman who was standing, there in the white shirt, and also having this on it as well too, with the auto target tracker and the auto target recognition. Having that duality ensures that your target is definitely going to be the person that you want it to be, without a shadow of a doubt, right? So this is real, guys. The bird of prey absolutely 100% does exist. This is a very real drone. And as far as I've seen, no one has covered this for Elbit Systems, located right there in Utah with access to this type of technology, with deep Israel ties directly to the IDF. No one's uncovered this, guys. I brought you initially when I first started talking about all of this, I showed you the 2 shots, right? And then I proved the 2 shots, the shot from the front left and the shot from the back right. Now, I had people out there who tried to steal that information from me. And it's unfortunate when people try to steal and then sell it to their audience as if it's original and just say, in my humble opinion, this is what I found. But that was all my information. If you've seen Operation 322, the first 3 parts, 1, 2, and 3, that was all my original information sourced from back in September with the BA sniper position and put out at the end of September and beginning of October. And then I had that stolen by a larger YouTube channel. And I'm not going to bother to even say the person's name here. I might show a picture of him though right here. So anyway, moving forward, now I'm showing you this. And I know it's not being put out by anyone else, anywhere else in the entire world. The entire world. Not just the United States, the entire world. I want my respect. Put some respect on my name when it comes to this Charlie Kirk investigation. Stop playing with me, y'all. Hundreds of hours have went into this. I said hundreds with a long H. Hundreds of hours have went into this. So I need you to put some respect on my name. Sure, I'm doing it for my book Planned. I'm doing it for PenPub, the platform that I built for Planned and for other authors. Sure, I'm doing it for that reason. But I'm also doing it because I've generally done stuff like this in the past because I'm just a justice guy. I don't like mockery. I don't like when people tell us we can't figure it out. I don't like when people just, decide to take out people that they don't like for no reason because those people are just using their speech and talking. Sure, they may be talking with ignorance. They may be saying things you don't like, but it doesn't give you the right to take them out. And if we allow that precedent to happen for one side, trust me, it's coming to your side next. So I don't stand for that, regardless of the color, regardless of the boy's position. What he knew and didn't know about life, it doesn't matter. We all were the same card-carrying Americans that live under this Constitution with God-given unalienable rights. We didn't need the Constitution to tell us that we had those rights, but it just solidifies the fact that we were born with those rights and that nobody can do anything about it. So he had those rights, I had those rights, and then they just decided to take him out in a ritualized assassination based on simply on the fact that they didn't like what he was saying. That's wild, and that's why we're here now. So in closing, let's go watch a quick video so you guys can kind of understand what the system is about. And I'm going to let this video rock out in its entirety so you guys can get an idea of exactly how the bird of prey actually works. Look at that. Eliminated. But look at that. And there you have it, guys. There you have it, just like that. So a lot of people don't understand, man, that this birds of prey weapon, highly versatile, very fast, and requires an operator to, obviously an expert operator to be able to fly a pilot and someone able to operate the actual functionality of it. This is an undertaking, if you will, and if you're in an operation doing this, you're probably going to have quite a few people in on this operation to ensure that everything is going well, especially with an absence of actual soldiers on the ground to ensure the mission. So you can have people blended in the crowd, especially anybody who looked extra comfortable, anybody who wasn't frazzled by the shooting at all. And, and there's a few people, there's a few cameramen that are just kind of questionable in their reaction or lack of reaction, should we say. Their motion kept moving as if this was anticipatory, I guess you could say. It just felt like certain people knew something. That's what it felt like. It felt like certain people knew something, and that the rest of us were not in the know. We're just figuring it all out now. So, guys, thank you for rocking out with me this whole time. If you think that it's weird that a Israeli-based killer drone company operating in Utah has the capabilities to literally take out anybody, and that hasn't been discussed. If you think that that's weird, drop me a comment. If you think that this research is good research and it's something that you haven't seen before, especially I'll scroll here so you guys can see, especially with everything that I have in here, man, that's crazy. I even gave that guy love. Look at that. I even gave him love. And instead I got robbed by that same individual. That's crazy. But anyway, you guys and girls out there that have enjoyed this, look, I don't get, like the larger channel of the person I was just showing you, I don't get all this ad revenue and all these other things that they have going on. I'm getting on the scene here and just jumping back into my investigative bag of journalism because, one, I wanted to figure this out, right? Two, like I said earlier, I'm just a justice kind of guy. I didn't like the mockery of this. It was just so in our face. It was just blatantly wrong. And three, I wanted to, put the world on notice as far as what I'm trying to bring to this world, not necessarily my book. I want you to read that too, because I think you'll benefit from the philosophy of how I think in that book. And, but not necessarily my book, but more or less the platform. The platform is more important because it frees us up, right? It gets us, it's the first step in the direction of having an uncensored platform that, it's just the best in the world, guys. It's decentralized. It's going to get you all your money instead of having somebody take up the 65% of your money. We don't want the Amazons and the Jeff Bezos of the world to be able to keep doing that, and we don't have any kind of recourse. So get 100% of your money, reach the world free of any app markets, but still have an app experience on people's phones, high quality, the highest quality possible for your books. Just everything, a whole chat feature and everything built into the back end of the books to give your app a social media feel so you can have social presence with your book. And you can turn that into a stage that you rent out. You can turn it into a podcast. You can make affiliate income off of that. You can make advertising income off of people reading your book. That's what I built. That's what I've built. And I'm not done. I've only told you some of it. There's more, there's a whole marketplace that's coming behind that. That'll be released in 2026. So all of my authors who are on PenPub will also be represented in that global marketplace, just like Amazon. So, but way better, way better. If you make $100,000 on my platform, you'll make your $100,000 minus your processing fees. If you make $100,000 on Jeff's platform, you will make $35,000. And I'm saying that, selling your book for $10. So selling a digital book for $10 that you've probably poured some blood, sweat, and tears into, you're not even going to make any money on Jeff's sites. You sell 10,000 copies and you'll be making a little bit above, what it takes to survive in this country. Make the same thing with me, you'll be thriving. You'll literally make more than double of what he would give you. That says a lot. It says a whole lot. You should really, really think about what I'm offering here. More than double and almost triple. So think about that, guys. Think about how significant that is for a platform. I'm not coming in the building saying, hey, I'm charging less than Jeff and I'm only going to charge you 10%. No. I'm saying I'm not going to charge you at all. I'm just going to charge you for the least for my technology. That's all. And that works out to be literally pennies compared to those kind of numbers. So I will never make off of you what Jeff makes off of you. Our funding model is completely different, right? We're business to business. And that's what's going to procure a lot of our income and advertising revenue and innovation and new technology. That's how we're going to do it. It's super simple. It's not even hard. You don't need to do this to people, what Jeff's doing to people to get this kind of an empire. I won't do that to people. So that's what I'm trying to bring you guys. So when I say support me, if you like what you've seen here in this Charlie Kirk Operation 322, parts 1 through 4, even though this part is super long, if you like the amount of work and time and attention and effort that went into explaining and doing all of this research just to bring you this. And again, I left a lot of meat on the bones for a lot of independent journalists. This is not my bag anymore. I just jumped in this bag to kind of give you guys a roadmap, the right direction, and show you how you can kind of tie this stuff together and where some of the connections are. If you enjoy this, please just support me. That's all I ask. So thanks for being here. And I hope you enjoy the information. And, again, I won't be doing a part 5. This is it right here, guys. It's took everything out of me right here. And, I'm just happy to be done, to be honest with you, and to be able to bring this to you and so that you guys and girls can use this out there to take this even further. I'm interested to see what you guys have. Come over to plannedbyty.com and we can talk about it over there. I'm going to be hosting some discussions talking about this probably through December on weeknights. So just, follow, come to plannedbyty.com and you can find the schedule there and we'll go from there. So thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate your support. Please support plannedbyty.com. Come buy my book that supports me. And until the next time, guys, stay alert, stay alive.
I love the poorly educated. We're the smartest people. We're the most loyal people.
Did you see what happened, Phil?
No.
Egyptian doesn't necessarily mean Egyptian. There have been a lot of times, Israel has used Egyptian identity in these kinds of covert operations to do reconnaissance or do whatever, forging passports, putting Egyptian flags on various vehicles or transportation that they have. It's all been done before.
And I don't care what any of these people say. I was clear. I was explicit when I said that I want war with all of you. Anybody that's lying is going to get exposed. I told you I felt it spiritually. Charlie told me he was betrayed in a dream. They laughed at me. They mocked at me. Well, who's laughing now?